Hey everybody, how's it going? So I just really want to make this very important just before this video begins. I want to give a lot of credit to Steven Crowder. And Steven Crowder is just awesome. I love his videos. And Steven Crowder started this whole thing called Change My Mind, wherein he would go up to people. People would come up to him where he had this big huge table, and he would ask them to change his mind on subjects. There's ones that I really like. There's the I'm pro-gun, change my mind. I'm anti-abortion, change my mind. And his videos are very well done. He actually started that whole change my mind meme, which I absolutely love. But it was great because I've watched Steven Crowder for months, and then all of a sudden he's a meme, and I was like super excited because I actually have the Loud with Crowder mug that he actually stands in the meme with, you know, just like there's nothing in this. Anyway, a lot of credit to Steven Crowder. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Hey everybody, I know it's been kind of a while since I last talked. Bad news and good news. The bad news is my computer just completely filled up, which means I've had to go through all my files, delete stuff, and move it all into separate disks, and it has been a pain in my ass. The bad news of that is that it also means that I need to restart the entirety of my trip to Portland video. And that really sucks because I put a lot of time into it, several different voiceovers trying to get it right. I put in a lot of good graphics, but I have to restart the entire thing. So that's what sucks. But the good news is that today I'm going to be recording an anti-gun march. Yes, students at my school have decided that they're going to host an anti-gun march and to end school shootings. Now, I could agree. School shootings are bad. But I draw the line at anti-gun. Second Amendment rights, everybody. Here, one second. Now, I love this book. This is one of the best books I've ever gotten. It's the U.S. Constitution and Other Writings. I think everybody should get this book just because of how awesome it is. Now, just skipping forward to my favorite part, the Constitution of the United States of America. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Now I'm just going to skip forward to my favorite part of the Constitution, which is the Bill of Rights. Now I absolutely love the Bill of Rights. So, Federalist Papers, Thomas Jefferson. Did I skip? Oh, no, here it is. So here it is, the Bill of Rights. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now what this means is that it gives people the right to protest, like they're doing today. Now I can agree, people should be able to protest for whatever reason. However, when it goes for the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Could you get any more simpler than that? This means that no matter what, you have the same rights as I do, and we have the right to keep and bear arms. Guns should not be banned. No infringements should be on weapons. Now, I'm just going to end it here because there's a lot more that I'm going to talk about today, and I really don't want to drain my battery. So, this is going to be a fun day. Alright. Hopefully I can do this like Steven Crowder, huh? Hey everybody, how's it going? So, now we're in the car. Well, truck. So, where we're headed is, we're headed down to the Jackson County Clerk's Office. And the reason we're heading there, whoops. There you go. And the reason we're heading there is because that's where the march is starting. And I heard that's supposed to go all the way to Spielberg Stadium. There's just one problem about this whole march. I don't know when it starts. So right now it is about 10 o'clock. And yeah, let's roll out. I'm gonna turn this off again. Hey everybody, how's it going? So I just now got here, and shit, there's a lot of people. Let's shut this shit down. Look at that. They aren't even following laws that are already put in place. Now they are.
So I'm looking for yeah, where are the kids? Nancy at the bathroom. Yeah, Matthew's is eye out for Jerry.
To come and do like the French Revolution. Come look at rabbit, look at rabbit. And that's because that's what's good. And in the end, everybody has
So somebody want to do it yourself.
And this is just Southern Oregon, everybody. Yes.
Hi.
How's it going?
My name's Sherry.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Sherry.
How's it going? So I'm a local YouTuber.
Awesome. I am as
230
well.
subscribers. Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I have a question
Okay,
for you.
so-
And I'm not trying to be rude.
that's okay.
Where's the county? I see you're for guns.
Yes, I am.
I am also.
Oh, nice.
So I'm
nice to
pro-gun.
meet you. Okay.
Okay. The question I have is, I'm also here with the the great still of. State of Jefferson, yeah.
Oh my God, I actually have a flag in my room for that. So
Okay, so
I
cool.
love State of Jefferson.
I'm told we were supposed to meet at 10 South Oakdale for this, and
Actually,
I was told the march will start at, it says the county clerk's office.
I think this is it, because this is where I'm here because I go to Crater.
Okay.
And I absolutely love Crater. And
Okay.
a whole bunch of people, a couple of students were telling me that they wanted to come here and be very anti-gun. Me, of course, being a conservative in a classroom full of very liberal people.
Yeah, I understand.
I came here to use my First Amendment to defend the Second.
Awesome. I'm so nice to meet you. I'm Sherry.
You.
I'm a 3%er.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you know what that is.
No idea.
Okay, a 3%er is we're basically volunteers for our community.
Okay.
We basically stand for our Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
We stand for the Constitution. We teach and preach the Constitution as much as we can.
I read the Constitution almost daily.
We volunteer for veterans.
Yeah, I like that.
And some of us stood at the Malham National Wildlife Refuge, if you know about that stand.
No, I didn't hear about that. No.
If you can look it up, it's Liberty for Lavoie.
Okay.
It was a gentleman that came here from, I want to say Idaho, but I don't want to get, or Utah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get it wrong. I believe it was Utah, though. He's a rancher, and he was standing up for another rancher's rights in the Malham National Wildlife, which is in Burns. And while having he didn't have a warrant out for his arrest or nothing. The FBI ambushed him like they did Bonnie and Clyde in a sense, but except for Bonnie and Clyde being bank robbers.
Yeah, they were actually bad
This
people.
guy wasn't a bad person. He was teaching the Second Amendment rights and standing up for injustices of ranchers.
Yeah.
And
I
teaching,
believe- yeah, I
teaching
definitely
us
believe in
about
Second Amendment
ranchers
rights, so.
and teaching about how his rights as being a rancher was being taken away. And he got murdered with his hands up by our government for using his Second Amendment, and they lied. And so,
Yeah, and That's why we have the Second Amendment, is to defend against a tyrannical government.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And it says it in our Second Amendment.
Exactly. The right, exactly. The right of the people, the right of the militia being necessary to a secure and freedom-free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I just read it before.
Thank you, yeah. And if more young people were like you, this world would be a better place.
Well, I guess my parents taught me right, huh?
Yeah, it is better. I feel out of place right now.
I actually took a class on the Bill of Rights, and even one of the most liberal teachers I know was teaching it, and even he was saying, yeah, you shouldn't be able to ban guns. That's just wrong. Because what happened? Yeah, like
I don't know if you know, it's up on the they're going to put it on the ballot this year to try to take our gun rights away.
Yeah,
and
I heard about that.
If you don't comply
within 120 days,
within 120 days, it'll be a Class 2 felony.
Yeah, which I think is just wrong.
Isn't that wrong? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that is like a direct violation.
But the Constitution to me is like our...
Yeah, it's the backbone of our country.
Yes, it's our God-given rights.
It's one reason why I actually want to be a constitutional lawyer. So,
that's so awesome.
Yeah. So I've joined the speech and debate team.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
I love arguing.
Well, you know what? I do too. We went to I went to a rally in Salem just recently, and I'll kind of show you. I went up against. We were Trump supporters and Second Amendment supporters. We went up against the.
Sorry, is it okay if I record?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went up against the Antifas.
Oh, I hate Antifa.
And so
I hate Antifa so much.
Yeah, as you can see, we were there, and
that's awesome.
I kind of had, this is us, we're 3%ers, and we kind of had a debate with these gentlemen, and as you can see, there was always, and I tried to tell them that there was common grounds.
Yeah, there's got to be common ground somewhere.
Common grounds.
I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, Steven Crowder.
And see, and that's my friend Candy, and she's also a constitutionalist.
Actually, last month I went to what was called the Oregon Freedom Rally.
Okay.
And while we were there, I got to talk with some very, very wonderful people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Probably my favorite, actually. Here, I'm just going to skip down here to the bottom. There were a couple of protesters, but I actually got to meet with Congressman Greg Walden.
Oh, he's awesome.
Oh, I love him. He's
an awesome young man.
Awesome.
I'm so happy that I got to meet him too.
Internship, so I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome.
But then there's Sheriff David Clark.
Oh, I love him.
And I actually got to meet him. That was really cool.
But you know what I like about him is he's a constitutional sheriff. That's what's most important.
But one thing one of the most influential people that I got to meet was Dana Lash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she is just awesome.
If you get a chance to look up somebody, look her up. Her name is, she's also a
Anybody want a Gun Sense voter sticker?
No.
Nope.
No, thank you.
No.
All right.
Thank you anyways. God bless you. I don't know if you know, but coming up here this... If you want it, no, you don't want one. It's a sticker.
No, it's a sticker for anti-gun.
And there's a young person's, it's the young kids standing up in Coos Bay for the Second Amendment.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I heard that,
I was just trying to see
have you ever heard of this one YouTuber? He's gotten a lot of them lately. His name's Steven Crowder.
No.
Here, open it up on your phone. One of his favorite things that he does is a thing called Change My Mind. And what he does is he just goes out in public with a massive sign, and he'll say, "I'm pro-gun. Change my mind." And he just has reasonable debates with people. And of course, there's always like the one person that comes up and they're like cursing him out. He stays calm.
You might want to look up. She's an awesome YouTuber too, but she comes to our town quite often. Her name is Chris Ann Hall.
I haven't heard of her.
She's an awesome. She's awesome, and she breaks the Constitution down to you in like steps. And I mean, it may seem for some people, but unlike me, I can get it all the information at once.
It makes sense,
and I love it. But some people, it's like an overload of information at once. But it's awesome. And if you look her up, her name is Chris Ann Hall, and she does major Constitution studies, and she breaks them down to you one by one, all through the whole thing.
Nice to meet you, miss. How are you doing?
That's my mom, Barbara.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
She's also pro-gun. She can actually shoot guns.
Well, I grew up in Klamath, so. Nice to meet you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we drove kind of far to get to this rally, so.
Eagle Point. So.
Okay.
Keep future presidents alive. I like that.
Don't worry about it. We'll run into some which says that we're going to.
I was trying to see where we can get one of those. You don't want one. Oh. You don't want one. Okay.
Wait a second.
Spirit of the Wild.
Huh?
Spirit of the Wild.
Old teacher Mike. How are you doing?
It's nice to see
I see you. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's
How are
awesome.
you?
I'm doing-
Are you doing something for school?
YouTube video. I like voicing my opinions. Here, let's see here. What your sign say?
Today we march. In November we vote, and prayers without action are meaningless. So
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping. I got interviewed for the Women's March in January, and they took it down to like one soundbite, which was fine
Yeah.
because I mean I got to say what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But this time I hope I get another, little interview.
Nice. Actually, just last month, I actually went up to, it's called the Oregon Freedom Rally.
Oh, yeah?
Sorry, is Kevin record you? Sorry, just YouTube and everything. So I went to a thing called the Oregon Freedom Rally. And I got to meet this guy, Joseph and Franco. He was really cool. But one of the most people.
I can't wear this.
Oh, why?
Because only the volunteers who are organizing are wearing
This is my mom.
Oh, nice to meet you.
This is Chase.
Nice to meet you.
Anyway, so tell me about this.
Oh, so I got to meet Dana Lash.
Uh-huh.
That was really cool. She's spokeswoman at the NRA, and that was really awesome.
yeah.
She's so nice. She's great.
Oh, I'm sure she's very nice.
Yeah, and I also-
That's how she got where she is.
Yeah, but she's actually a really great person. And then I also got to meet Sheriff David Clark Jr. That was really cool. But I also got to meet Congressman Greg Walden. And Greg Walden actually, his assistant actually offered me an internship here in town. So I'm really
Good
excited
for
about that.
you.
So yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm voting against him.
Oh, why is that? Maybe
Why?
find some common ground.
Because he's voting for things in Washington that I disagree with.
Okay.
A lot of things. So, and he's not supporting the majority of his constituents, except for the ones way out in Eastern Oregon in the most conservative communities. But even in Bend, there are a lot of people voting against him,
well, one
and
reason
they
that-
tend to be,
My main objection to Greg Walden is that he headed the committee that tried to get rid of healthcare.
Yeah, he tried to get completely rid of healthcare, and it's helping a lot of people. Nothing is perfect, but you can't make things better by just getting rid of stuff. You got to fix it. You got to work on it, but don't get rid of it.
It's like
Especially
guns.
when it's been shown to be working for a lot of people.
So it's like guns, right? You can't get rid of them. It's not won't fix
Oh
anything.
no, I don't want to get rid of them.
Okay, good.
That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the things that I want to say if I get an interview.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
because, Second Amendment rights
I
are
would like to see
the backbone of our
common
country.
sense gun regulation. I would like to see guns regulated the way cars are regulated. Make people get training. Make people get licenses. Make people get insurance. Make them jump through the same hoops. A
Well,
car can be a deadly weapon, so can a gun.
But you already can't you already can't purchase a firearm without some sort of valid ID, such as driver's license.
Oh yes,
So-
you can in a lot of places. You can. Yeah, that's the problem. Is that people can, and people have been YouTube videoed doing
YouTube.
it. So that's the problem. We need to close those gaps and loopholes. So no, I don't want to see guns taken away. I don't think that's the right choice. But if the NRA keeps on pushing for no regulations, we will lose our rights.
I don't think we can really blame the NRA though. I mean, it's like blaming the
Oh, yeah, we can.
CDC because
Oh, no, we can
your
blame
kid
them.
got a headache.
No, they're big on PR. They're big on lobbying with big money in Washington. Yes, we can blame them. Yes, we can.
I don't really think that's really
Then
fair.
you and I will have to disagree.
Okay.
Because and respectfully.
Okay, good.
But I do think when you have huge amounts of money going to Washington representatives and senators, and that money is saying, hey, we want you to vote this way. That money outweighs a lot of us little guys who can't afford to send a lobbyist to Washington. So yes, we can blame them for a lot.
So that means we can also blame Planned Parenthood as well. because they've been known as supporting what is it? Chuck Schumer. I almost said Amy Schumer for a second. But yeah, actually, Planned Parenthood actually gave money to Chuck Schumer as well as Nancy Pelosi. So I think in that way, Planned Parenthood be getting like the exact same as the NRA in this case.
So what you're conflating are two completely separate issues. You're saying the issue of abortion, right?
Yes, because
do you know that federal money cannot be used to fund abortions? It cannot. There's already a law against it. Planned Parenthood cannot use federal funding for abortions.
Yeah.
They use federal funding for education, for health care, STD checks, birth control, prevention of birth. You know, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but also, but I'm talking about like Planned Parenthood, like giving money to Nancy Pelosi. If the NRA is giving money to whoever.
There are a lot of people who give money to Planned Parenthood to give money to Washington. That's the corrupt system.
Like Toys R Us?
That's the thing. What about Toys R Us? Okay, you're like throwing like all these things at me.
Because I'm
just here for gun control.
All right. Well, I totally disagree on gun control. I think like with the Nicholas Cruz case in Florida, he was obviously mentally ill. He'd been called multiple times to the police for
okay, so then
illness.
you have people like Greg Walden trying to get rid of health care. How is that helping mentally ill people who might get a hold of guns? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm voting against Greg Walden. So back to that, you know.
Okay. All right.
So if you're gonna preach something, you got to support it with your dollars or with your actions. And Greg Walden might preach that we need to bolster up, mental health care and whatever. But he's not actually putting his vote where it counts if that's his truth. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm going to vote against him.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right. Well, I disagree, but it was nice seeing you.
Yeah,
Great.
good to see you
All right,
too.
nice seeing you.
Yeah,
okay.
take care.
Nice seeing you. Okay.
See, this is respectful dialogue. This is what this country needs more.
It's what politics should be.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, Chase.
Yeah. All right. Nice seeing you. Okay.
Hi, puppy.
Your mom was real tiny, so she kind of got her mom's. Yeah. Got her dad's leg.
Good job.
Her mom's step back.
But my full size
Cute dog.
I guess he was like.
It shows you how those get the papers out of the Grand Corporation. Yeah, very interesting.
And I did a running in the woods.
John has spoken too. It's up to
But it would have been a totally different story if he was more angry and had more and everybody points out.
Yeah. Great. The exact same Trump joke that they make every single time.
My kids are like, Mom, no.
What dog is it? Middle school.
Okay. Assault weapons. Okay.
Would you like a gun sense voter? He really does. He loves to be around people.
How's it going? Nice to meet you. I'm Chase.
Shantae.
Nice to meet you. So I'm doing a bit of a YouTube channel, and I'm doing a series called Change My Mind, and I talk to people because I'm obviously pro-gun. I'm taking your anti-gun, I guess.
No, I don't think that that's a fair characterization at all.
I was just making a generalization, just to ask and make sure.
We're for common sense gun legislation.
Okay.
And that is something that a majority of Americans, including gun owners, believe in. And we are a gun-owning household,
Okay.
but we believe that there are definitely some weapons that civilians are not meant to have. And I really feel that it is incumbent upon our legislators,
May I ask
to
which
do
weapons?
I'm sorry?
May I ask which weapons?
Assault rifle.
Well,
There's no point for an
well,
assault
so,
rifle
well,
in a
so
home.
what is an assault rifle?
We're talking
It's a-
specifically about AR-15s, which were used at Columbine, Aurora, Parkland. And we saw recently the unfortunate school shooting in Maryland. The person had a handgun, but because they only had a handgun, and that's not okay either, but because they only had a handgun, 2 people instead of 20 were massacred.
But
And it's awful.
do you know who stopped?
It was a police
Yes,
officer.
with
And
a gun.
I'm okay
Yes,
with
yes,
police
also trained.
officers.
Yes.
And I'm okay
Any
with
schmo
police
Joe
officers
can go
being
buy an
armed.
AR-15. They may not even know how to take it apart, put it together, clean it, nothing. In the military, they're literally restricted down to the individual bullet. They have to account for every damn bullet.
As
You
do
know
the
what?
police.
And the police. If civilians had to account for that and deal with insurance, people won't own these things. Because you go to the target range, now you got to explain why you popped off 100 rounds out of these 10 guns that you own.
Practice.
Practice for what?
Yeah, why does anybody
It's
do
target
that?
practice.
The Second
Tinkering
Amendment is for a well-regulated militia,
Yes.
not for somebody to have
Well,
a weapon and
the
go
militia
into a
is the people.
school and destroy
No,
people.
militia is a militia.
No, the militia is the people. Because why would the government
No.
give itself the right to bear arms?
No, so there's this thing called
Well-regulated
well-regulated,
militia.
which means that it's an organized group. General people are not organized.
Yeah,
That's not
and
well-regulated.
that's not well-regulated.
Yeah, but well-regulated.
The definition of a
And that's what
militia
we're
is
asking
that
for, is
with the,
well-regulation.
like with the Parkland situation, obviously not well regulated. He should not have been able to get a firearm. He was obviously mentally ill. He had been several calls to the
So
police.
you support that mental ill people should not be able to get guns?
Yes, mentally ill people should not be able to get. Should not be able to get
part of
guns.
the huge
That-
part
and
of
that's where I
this.
agree with like Dana Lash and Ben Shapiro. That's where I agree with them. That this individual should not have been able to get a gun, especially with the Parkland shooting. However, when it comes to like the an assault rifle, do you know what the AR stands for in AR-15?
I used to.
Okay, it stands for Armalite. It's the company that made it.
Yes.
Yeah. But a lot of people they misinterpret it and they
That it's
say
assault rifle.
Yes.
Yes, it does not mean
So
assault
I think when it comes down to is people should be educated with guns. That's why like in the 80s and 70s there were actually gun ranges on schools. There weren't a lot of school shootings. There were.
But they
Yeah,
were also
but they
doing
were-
that because they were shooting as part of school.
And
Like it was a
and
sport.
they were also-
I'm okay with biathlon if that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
But that
but
isn't what,
That's also
but
a
that isn't what we're
single-shot
talking about.
carbine-based rifle.
Yeah, but on school, the thing is that we should actually have like a better education for our students, especially with
Well,
things regarding like
I think first we need to teach students how to balance a checkbook.
and that,
And like
yeah,
real
that I
real
agree
life
with,
things
yeah.
before you start telling them, okay, now you can go learn how to shoot a 45.
And that I agree with because honestly, the school system kind of sucks. I'm in high school. I'm a senior
you know,
right now.
if the money that the NRA was paying our politicians was given to schools, we wouldn't have that problem.
What about the money that Planned Parenthood's giving politicians? I mean,
Planned Parenthood does not give a lot of money.
like,
They really don't.
They don't. They don't have a lobby. They don't have a massive lobby. They actually have other people that support them.
Yeah.
Public people like her and I donate to support them.
They provide
It's
health
not-
care.
I disagree.
They provide health. Well, that's not a disagree or agree thing.
Well-
That's a factual thing. You're welcome to pull up statistics and argue with us about statistics and
Okay.
facts. Your opinion is your opinion. You started by
That's an
coming up and
American
saying that you are pro-gun,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and you were characterizing us as anti-gun.
Well,
we are not. And you also said that you host a YouTube channel
Yeah.
where we're expected to change your mind. I don't even like that premise. I respect the fact that you and I can disagree
Okay.
on a lot of things,
Yeah.
but come
That's the First
together
Amendment rights,
on
yes.
common sense issues. And you already said
Common
that
sense
you
is.
don't believe that
You don't
people
think
who are
mentally ill
mentally ill
people
people
should
should
be able
have
to buy a
guns.
gun. You don't-
And yet the
I'm
president
assuming-
signed that into law last year, and our idiot representative, Greg Walden, supported that nonsense.
And I assume that you're also, based on the mentally ill thing, that you don't think criminals with felony records should be able to have guns.
yeah.
But do you also believe the fact that people of color are overly attributed with felonies due to the situations that they're forced to live
Doesn't
in?
mean that's racist. It's just a statistic that shows that.
Nobody
despite-
called you racist.
No, I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying it's not a racial thing. It's a thing. I mean, it's just a fact that
Why do you think that's a fact?
because it's been statistically proven. statistically proven that.
Do you know what else is statistically proven? That a majority of domestic terrorists are white men.
It's true. Okay. And thus they should be treated the same way as a foreign terrorist in the court of law.
But that isn't what's happening. They're being, I mean, that guy who after shooting at people was allowed to get fast food on the way to after he was arrested. I mean, but the other guy who had a freaking cell phone in his backyard, he was shot 20 times. They're not treated the same by law at all.
And they should be. I think we agree that under American law, we should all be treated equally. Correct? Okay.
That's the basis of this country.
Yes, which means that we don't, you know, you can go back and study the history of white flight, suburbs, and all that stuff. It was all meant to encapsulate people of color into neighborhoods, and then especially food. What is it called? The food when there's no stores for actual grocery.
Food deserts.
Food deserts. So they were pushed into food deserts basically, where their local grocery store was a 7-Eleven. That's not a grocery store. They were shoved into these impoverished areas, and that created crime, because if you don't have food, you will steal to feed you and your family. Guaranteed. You're not just going to roll over and die. Nobody. That's not a human condition. Human condition is to fight when you start. Your body's going to make you do it at the end, no matter what.
I think what bothers me the most is we're here under our constitutional right to talk about the things that we feel are important, and we would like to get the attention of our legislators, and repeatedly the NRA characterizes us as violent, and that we are going to threaten people who have guns and take away all their guns, and they're riling up a divisive chasm in this country that I don't think really exists. And it's only existed recently, and that bothers me a lot. That bothers me a lot, because I don't like the fact that we're characterized as some sort of violent uprising. It encourages people who are a little bit unbalanced to want to come here and make a point in a violent way, because they feel threatened. And we don't want to take away everybody's guns, not even remotely. And
we just want things that actually protect people from.
I want a civilized
who don't know
society.
what they're doing with them.
I want a civilized society like other advanced countries get. I don't go to movies on opening night since what happened in Aurora.
I just don't go to movies on opening night because it's crowded.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, just recently, so a parent, their 2-3-year-old son shot their 4-year-old daughter in the head because he was mad over.
What kind of moron leaves their weapon out?
Yeah, that's the case.
Yeah, and I
you know what?
Being of a gun household, we all agree. Okay.
Everything's in the safe. You don't leave things clipped.
Yes.
But you don't need to learn that when you get a weapon, and I feel obviously people should, because they're doing dumb things with their weapons.
Yes. And that's
you need to respect that weapon.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And people should have to learn that before they own one.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel that's common sense. Look, you and I agree.
Yeah.
We don't want to take away everybody's guns. If
like
everybody on your YouTube channel can understand that we don't want to take away all your guns. I swear we don't want to take away all your guns.
We just want common sense.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I hope to see you in the future.
All right. Thank you. All right, buddy. I'm turning off the. Nah, I'm actually gonna keep this rolling while I make a phone call. Is that a David Hogg poster? Hey Christina, give me a call. I'm here at this anti-gun march and I'm trying to crash it, but I'm gonna need some help. Alright, later. Hey Chris, what are you up to? This is Chase. Yeah. It's alright. I was curious how fast you can get down here to the Jackson County Clerk's office. Yeah. Kind of downtown because they're having this massive anti-gun march and I'm trying to crash it. Seriously? You should have. Well, I'm here at the anti-gun march and I'm trying to crash it. Just curious you wanted to help out with my YouTube video. All right. Ah, damn it. All right. Yikes. Alright. Okay. Alright, later, man. Bye.
It's not the 11th commandment that we have the right to when he wants to be like China and Russia, he figures he's going to hang around.
China and Russia both took away their guns, so.
Capital's moving to new life. Well, save us.
Let's hold hands, please. Oh, hey, how's it going? I was like, I know that dog. How are you? Good, how are you? Nice to see you guys here. Nice to see you too. Hi. You guys are from I'm from Valley TMS. Hi. Yeah, we met in the open house.
Hey, Luke. Luke, listen. Luke. Look up, though.
Yeah, you know, all types of
Intimidate everybody.
Yeah. You guys want to be in it with us with your signs? You don't have to.
This is what democracy looks like.
So this is how democracy ends. Thunderous applause.
I'll send that to my family, but I'm not going to post it. Okay. Do you want to talk about it?
Those kids that got hit by the deer. Did they get hurt?
Yeah, one got definitely couldn't have worse. So she got just some stitches and concussion. You want to type it in? Expect the unexpected.
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you. Good morning.
Just keep coming.
Right over there. The paper. The paper was. We were almost.
Many dogs. That guy is our security advisor. I've had to stay down. I thought maybe the sign was a little more.
So he was getting your logic. That was so funny.
I'm glad that you texted me because I was one of those things like, oh, I should do that. Well, with public schools, do a private school, they don't need absolutely any Catholic. They don't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, in private universities.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. What are you clapping about? You can't even see anything.
I did too.
Hey Zach, what's up? Are you doing anything today? Are you doing anything today? Damn it! I'm trying to crash this anti-gun march. Crash an anti-gun march. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. They're pretty fucking retarded, actually. I'm trying to get as much footage as I can because it's freaking retarded. Alright, I'll see ya. Bye. Oh man, missed it. John Lennon tee. There was John Lennon shirt. John Lennon was globalist. Why don't listen to the Beatles? No, I don't know. Delicious people. Delicious. I need my Pakistani flag. Alex Jones? What are you doing here? Alright, and turn off the camera. I don't want to waste any more battery.
Hi Facebook, I am live at the 2018 Medford March for Our Lives. They're just about to get started. They just made a couple announcements about people staying on the sidewalks and being safe. So it looks like things are about to get underway. I'm going to turn it around for you so you can take a look at some of the people here, some of the signs. There are hundreds of people here. I don't have an exact count, but like I said, hundreds here at the Jackson County Clerk's office. That's where it started. And people are slowly starting to make their way. We're heading over to Central Case Club at Spiegelberg Stadium. And I just want you to take a look at some of the signs here. Here's one. Expand gun regulation, protect us from harm. There's all sorts of different signs here. This one over here says enough is enough. Schools should be safe. So really people are all here protesting gun violence. They want safer schools. They want people to make a change. They want people to vote in the upcoming election. And one of the things I've seen that's interesting is they want students to vote in the next election. A lot of people, you know, they think that students don't have a voice, but they want people to know that they do and that they can make change in their legislation. So there aren't going to be any streets shut down during this. Pardon me. I just want you guys to see see how many people are here. There aren't going to be any streets shut down during this, so if you're driving in the area, don't worry about the streets being shut down, but just be cautious of the people who are going to be walking along the sidewalks. Okay. Here are some more signs: protect lives, not guns, hashtag enough, never again. Everybody has these signs. Here's one. Hello. Can I ask why you're here today?
I'm here to help the kids protest against gun violence and that we need gun laws. And Walden takes money from the NRA, and we all need to realize that.
What would you like to see change?
I'd like to see Walden change. I would like to see someone who actually represents the needs and the will of the people rather than corporate America.
Okay. What do you think about the event so far today?
I've just gotten here, but it's really exciting. We're from Grants Pass.
You came all the way down from Grants Pass? Wow, okay, well, thank you so much for talking with us. You're welcome. Okay, like I said, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Well, I don't think they're planning on burning down the city today. Let's go ahead and walk this way. It's hard, isn't it? Thank you, ladies. Okay, here's a group of signs over here. Guns have more rights. I think that says than woman. And you know, this event was organized by students in the Rogue Valley. That's one thing to keep in mind as well. Lots of different March for Our Lives signs. Hi, I'm live with News 10. Can I ask why you came out today?
Yeah, I came out for tighter laws on guns because I'm tired of school shootings and I'm tired of people dying at the hands of assault rifles.
And are you a student here in Medford, or where are you from?
I'm a student in the master's program at SOU for teaching.
Okay, and your sign says, I'm sick of seeing our flag half-mast, tighter gun laws will save lives. What kind of changes would you like to see specifically?
Specifically, I'm kind of nervous, honestly.
No, you're okay.
Specifically, I'd like to see sort of like Japan does something really interesting with gun laws. They have much higher, before you can buy any kind of weapon, you need high amounts of training. So they require high amounts of training, high background checks. There's limited loopholes, and there's government check-ins on people who have weapons to make sure that they're using them in the correct way.
Okay.
So, and they haven't had gun deaths or any sort of mass shooting, I think, or very limited mass shootings, whereas the U.S. has had countless. So I think we can really look outward and learn something from other countries.
And as a student, are you ever nervous to go to school? Do you fear for your life whenever you go to school?
I mean, the fear doesn't keep me from going to school, but as a future educator, I'm disgusted by this problem, and I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it, which is why I'm out here. No one should ever be afraid to go to school. Nobody should ever be afraid to go to school. That's not right, and I'm absolutely sick of it, and that's why I'm out here, and we need to change.
Thank you so much for sharing your opinions and thoughts with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So somebody asked earlier that they don't see a lot of students. I actually saw one group. It was a family. There was the grandma and the grandpa down here, along with the parents, and two students who are students at Rogue Valley School. So that's pretty neat that they had 3 generations out here. So there are students. I think a lot of them are actually leading the march, which, to be honest with you, I'm not sure which direction they're going right now. Everyone, I think, is kind of standing and waiting for it all to kick off. But there's a sign that says ban assault weapons, arm schools with resources. Can't read that one out loud, but okay. Let's go see if we can talk to a couple of more marchers. Hi there. I'm live, Facebook Live right now with News 10. I don't know if I can ask you a couple of questions on why you came out today.
Because I think the assault I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Because we need to control guns. You know, we can't control people. You know, it's not like, you know, everybody has muskets. You know, we have assault weapons. We have all this other stuff that's killing people everywhere, all the time.
What kind of control would you like to see?
Better licensing. They need to be licensed. They need to check background checks. And when people know, when the FBI knows that people do something, they need to notify other people. Because people, when they were notified about this guy in this last shooting in Florida, and nobody did anything about it. That's disgusting.
Okay. And I see your sign here says ban assault guns now. What would you consider to be assault guns? Like what kind of gun specifically would you like to see banned?
Like the AR-15.
AR-15. Okay. Let's see. I have just a couple people asking questions, so that's why I'm asking you those. Okay. Well, I think those are the questions that they had for you. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. Yes. Okay, thoughts, prayers, no, action, yes, that's what she's saying here. Are you a student in Medford?
Yeah, not in Medford, in Grants Pass.
On Grants Pass? Yeah. Okay, so what made you decide to come out today?
Just standing up for the voices of students who can't be heard and trying to get our voices heard.
What did you think when you heard that this event was going to be going on?
To just get out here and make a difference.
You drove all the way down from Grants Pass to be here. Are you family?
Friends.
Oh, friends. Okay, so you all go to school in Grants Pass?
Yes.
Can I ask a little bit of the story behind your signs, why you decided to make these signs? We have one, this one here. Looks like a target with how many more? And one that says enough. What's the story behind your signs?
We're just tired of kids having to die in class. We all have siblings that go to school too, and we're just tired of kids having to be afraid to go to school and to learn things, and things need to change for the better.
Do you think that there can be a balance found between people with the Second Amendment and gun control? And if so, what is that balance?
I think that it's definitely just more regulation. People need to have better background checks and mental health checks. We don't want to take all your guns away. We just want to take away the ones that are unnecessary that are just used for killing and violence.
Okay. And as current students now, and kind of the culture that's out there, what was your reaction to what happened in Parkland? Obviously, a very sad event.
It's tragic. It's awful. We keep having to hear this every day. Just curious if there's something else that's going to happen, and people aren't going to do anything about it.
Has it changed your perspective at all going to school?
Yes. We've had threats at school before, and we have to live in a place where people would rather have guns than to be safe and have their children be safe.
Okay, is there anything else you ladies would like to say? Okay, thanks so much. Thank you. Okay, let's keep going. All right. Oh, this one is a whiteboard. Oh, pardon me. There's another sign for you. There are just tons of people here. You know what? I'm going to go up on the steps so we can kind of get an aerial view of what's going on. Look at all these people here. And like I said, they are marching over to Spiegelberg Stadium, I believe it is, over at Central. It's about a half-mile away. No streets will be shut down. So if you're driving, don't worry about having to get around the different streets. You should be okay. Just be careful of those protesters walking on the sidewalks. So here's the steps in front of the old courthouse here. Hello. Hi. Okay, I'm going to try to get up here so we can get an aerial view of all the different people, because this crowd is just spanning the entire front lawn in front of the courthouse. So that's kind of where it starts over there. Here are all the people. You know, I haven't seen any signs kind of protesting the protest like you said. I'm not sure if they're out there or not. I haven't seen any yet.
There's two guys at the corner.
Oh, what are the signs? There actually are some students here. We just talked with about 4 of them actually, a group of 3 girls and another student over at SOU. This one says register all guns, license officers. I think that the march might be getting started now. You can't really see the people's heads, but you can see all the pickets. Here's the side right behind us here. I'm going to show you guys. The nation of sheep will soon have a government of wolves. Edward R. Murrow. Thank you. And this one says protect kids, not guns. All right. Thanks. Thank you. Okay. Well, it looks like people are going to get started, so I'm going to come over here so we can look at everybody. Take a look here at the crowd. Now, they are going to be walking, like I said, about a half-mile away. on the sidewalks, not on the streets. So no streets will be shut down for this march. You know, the Women's March, they had a couple of streets shut down, so no traffic concerns there. You know, a lot of these signs just say March for Our Lives, kind of like that. And there are people here of all ages. I was told that this event was organized by students in the Rogue Valley. However, a lot of students brought their families along with them. I talked to a couple people who don't even have kids in the school system right now. They're just concerned about the students throughout the nation and their safety in schools. Okay, looks like everybody's marching. I just want you guys to have a look for those who aren't here to see what is going on right now down at the old courthouse in downtown Medford. It's the 2018 March for Our Lives, protesting gun violence, excuse me. This one says SOS students.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
Yes, there are a lot of people here, and I'm actually kind of on the edge of it, so imagine if you're kind of in the thick of it, what it looks like. This is just the edge. Quite a few flags here. If you guys have any questions, please ask, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability.
That's why I'd like to chat with you.
You know that Reagan actually is responsible for having essentially banned automatic weapons in America?
Okay, so now the march is starting. You can see them crossing the street there. I'm going to try to get into it more so you guys can get a better look of how many people are here. This girl sign says power to the polls.
All we need is have common. That agrees with you.
Hello. Hi. Hi. One guy said arms are for hugging. I'm assuming he's talking about being armed with weapons.
She's really cool. She's really tiny.
Pardon me? This one says common sense gun reform, ban assault weapons. Hi, how are you? So a lot of people coming out today to speak their minds about gun violence. Specifically, this march is for gun violence in schools, but it looks like a lot of people are just kind of sharing their ideology behind
wonderful, but we're getting
weapons in general. I've heard a lot of people wanting stricter background checks. They want them to be kind of more in-depth and more extensive. A lot of people are here saying ban assault weapons, AR-15s. Hello. Well, you know, I am just kind of going up to random people and asking why they're here, so I haven't pre-interviewed these people. I am live with KTVL News 10. Can I ask you a couple questions just about why you're here today?
Sure.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a school teacher in the Medford School District. I don't want to carry a gun, and my heart and soul are with children. They're the future for us. They're the only hope that we have is this generation of kids. That's my feeling about it.
Okay, and you mentioned that you don't want to be armed as a teacher. What other kind of changes, if any, would you like to see?
Well, I want to see a change in gun legislation. I want to see all assault rifles banned, bump stocks, better evaluation of mental health and services provided for them.
Okay, and as a teacher in the Medford School District, obviously your students are the ones who put this together. The Rogue Valley students put this together. What can you say about that?
I'm incredibly proud and inspired by them, by all the youth today.
Okay, and how about you, sir? Why are you here today?
I'm here in support of logical gun control legislation.
Okay, and what kind of logical gun control legislation is that?
I think she said it pretty well, and it's better screening of people allowed to have guns. I don't want to take anybody's guns away. I want people to be sensible about them and with them.
Okay, and yeah, I've heard the phrase a lot today on all the signs and everything, common sense gun control. Can you kind of explain what that means to you?
Well, assault weapons don't belong in the hands of people today. One of the signs here just a little while ago said it, you know, we're in the 21st century. And when our laws, or when our laws were put into effect, it was way before assault weapons were available. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. Okay, so I've seen a couple of you guys comment that you feel that this is a one-sided narrative. Well, we are at a gun violence protest, so I would have to say that that is the majority of opinions here. I'm going to turn this around so you can see. Everybody's waiting across the street on Oakdale now. We're over by the jail. As you can see right over there, so just where the old county courthouse is, and I'm actually walking right next to the sidewalk. So right next to me, you can see here's the street, driving by. Here's the sidewalk. Okay, and it's a little crowded, so I'm going to take you through here. There you go. I've seen quite a few of these signs too. Moms Demand Action looks like that's a group that's out here today.
And every state has different.
All right. So right now there's kind of just a big line of people waiting to cross the street here because, like I said, none of the streets are shut down, and everybody is supposed to be walking on the sidewalk. There's kind of another crowd of people back here. Looks like they're funneling into that crosswalk. This event is supposed to go until 1 today, and it looks like because there are so many people, they're going to be marching fairly slowly, so that explains that. Right before this started, a student did get on and announce a couple of rules. One thing that they said was, of course, you know, walking on the sidewalks, but also if people come out and share their ideals that are different from them or don't agree with them, they wanted people to be respectful of it. So they're definitely not out here looking for a fight or looking for an argument. That's one thing that they announced to the entire crowd. There's a couple more signs here for you. Lots of differing views on this. Of course, it's kind of a hot button topic. Hello. Okay, so this kind of looks like the end of the crowd here. I'll spin around. You know, I haven't seen a counter protest. Do you know where it is, Kelly? Because I would love to go over there and show you guys so you can see that too. I'm not sure if there was one planned today. Yeah, I haven't seen a pro-gun protest so far.
You haven't seen a pro-gun? Well, there's a guy over there with an assault rifle.
He's standing there with his weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, on the corner there? Okay.
Not intimidating at all.
Is he here alone? Do you know if there's any kind of counter protest going on?
I don't know, but we were kind of
No, they're all
harangued by somebody
loners.
else.
They're all lone
driven
gunmen.
by, honked,
Okay.
and giving us the finger.
Okay, well,
All the counter protests.
that I guess tends to happen with protests. It's a counter protest, right?
Yeah, the counter protest lone gunman over there, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so like we said, or like she said, there's somebody over here with a counter protest. So this is kind of the end of it, so that you guys can take a look. I'm going to show you the back of the crowd here. People kind of filing from both sides of the sidewalk. There's the old courthouse, people funneling on their way to the stadium that they're going to. It looks like there might be some sort of counter protest over here. So we can go talk to them and see if they will talk to us. Hello. Hi, I'm live with News 10 on our Facebook Live. I don't know if I can just ask you about why your group is here today?
Yeah. Just kind of like hanging out.
Oh, okay. Are you part of the protest, or is there a counter protest that you're part of?
No.
We're just here to see what's going on, basically.
Okay, the whole crowd?
We're pro-gun.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
You know, I don't understand what the issue is here.
Can I ask you, a little bit about your opinion? Now, we have some people who would love to hear your side of it, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen when they take all the guns and nothing changes, right? What's going to happen when they take my gun? I'm not shooting anybody anyway. If I'm out with my weapon and I have to point it at someone, it's because they're doing wrong, right? And so what happens when they take all of our guns and these guys are successful, and then it doesn't stop the psychos from doing what they're doing? Are they going to come back and take more of our stuff? Right? This is an infringement on our rights. I'm not unsafe. None of us are unsafe. We're not criminals. We're not scary, bad people. And we're probably more likely to protect you than the police who take, up to 7 minutes to show up.
Like Parkland.
Like Parkland, right?
Can I ask, do you think that there is a problem right now with school safety?
I mean, I think that there's a huge problem right now with people and like mental issues that aren't being taken care of. I don't necessarily think it's school. I think if you had like some kind of armed people at the school, like the shooting that happened a week or so after the Parkland shooting, where the resource officer was armed and he stopped the shooting in under 60 seconds, right? And that makes the school safe, a guy with a gun. If you're going to call the cops, a guy with a gun is going to show up. If the resource officer is armed, a guy with a gun shows up. If I'm anywhere near it and I'm armed, I'm going to show up and I'm going to help. And so is most other people who are trained with weapons, right? So you can't say that most people aren't capable of carrying guns and then call a guy with a gun to come save you, right? I think if schools want to be safer, you can find a way, like an armed resource officer, or work on mental health a lot more. Taking everyone else's guns away and punishing the rest of us because some psychopath did something stupid. It's not doing anything.
Okay. And nearly all of these shootings, everybody's on some type of psychotropic drug. Every single one of them. I mean, that's pretty common in all of these shootings.
Okay.
Nobody thinks crazy people should have weapons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that.
Yeah, if they're mentally ill, like the Parkland shooter, he should not have been able to get a weapon. I think I agree with Dana Lash and Ben Shapiro on this, with how he had been called multiple times to the police, where they went to his house multiple times, and it was obvious that he was like mentally ill. I think they caught him like strangling like a neighbor's chicken or something like that.
He wasn't allowed at the school with a backpack.
Yeah. And he got expelled. I think he got expelled or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest things is that I believe that as a pro Second Amendment supporter, I believe that whenever you go to a bank, you see what's standing outside. What most big banks, unarmed guard, always. What drives around armored vehicles? That's money in there. Our children are more valuable than that money.
Yeah.
I would, as a taxpayer, pay a little more so there is safety in our schools. Yeah. Taking all the guns away from the legal law-abiding citizens, banning guns from people that follow the law, that's just going to remove our guns. There's still millions of guns out there that are unaccounted for, and those are going to be in the hands of the the criminals, and they're going to do criminal acts with or without a law in place. Right now, murder is illegal. Yet murder still happens.
Yeah. Same thing with rape.
So look at all the shootings in Chicago. There's not one single word of the media.
I think it's horrible. It's atrocious.
And it's a gun-free zone.
It's saddening to see all these kids dying. It is, but I want to talk about in like 1994. There were 35,000 plus deaths by automobile accident. There was 33,000 by firearm. Sorry guys, but that's too much. Too much for cars though. We didn't see legislation about cars, like get rid of cars. And guess what the number one killing was? And I just went and had a conversation, and they said it's based on their belief system. There was 600,000 plus deaths caused by abortion. You want to talk about a bigger issue? There is a bigger issue, a bigger problem. We're killing the future politicians, we're killing the future scientists, we're killing the future.
Doctors.
We don't even know what they could have been.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that would take, I think adoptions are a good path to getting rid of the abortion. So what are you going to do whenever their abortion's not available anymore? Well, there are people that would take in the children. But killing babies, and then the left says it's not a...
Sure, absolutely.
The left says it is not define what a life is, and I said, well, you define what a life is, and he said it's that thing that's in there. I said, well, it's not a life. I said, well, let's just look at it this way. If you allowed that thing, you call it, to develop, it would be born a child. We can just all come to the agreement that that's common ground, that if that thing was let to grow, it would be a human being. And the guy agreed. Unfortunately, he couldn't come to the point and tell me what he says. It's all philosophical. I'm like, no, it's a life. Period.
It's a life. I'm actually in the medical field. I'm a registered nurse.
I am all about saving our children.
Life starts at conception. It's a life.
Oh, yeah. Save our children. Save our children. Save our children. Absolutely. Yeah. Taking our guns away is not going to do that. Yeah. You might save 17, but what about the other 590-something thousand children killed by abortion? Let's really talk about a bigger problem. I mean,
it's one reason why I'm massively anti-abortion, because I was actually born 2 months early. So that's plenty of time under laws in certain states for me to be aborting. And I think that's absolutely just wrong. And one thing that I also want to talk about is, where are these shootings happening? Schools,
gun-free zones,
concerts, gun-free zones. Yeah, and
exactly.
Yeah, but I think you can also compare that to countries such as Britain. So in London alone last year, there were over 500 acid attacks. And more people actually died in Britain because of people murdering people with cars, and there were stabbings. Actually, Britain is actually trying to push legislation right now that's anti-knife, ban the knives in Britain. So I think it's almost as if people who are going to commit crimes are going to commit the crimes.
I have a couple questions for you guys from our viewers.
Okay,
So one person wants to know if that's a full AR. What did they say?
This is not an AR-15.
Okay.
No, this is
not an
So what is your gun that you have there?
This is an IWI Tavor. This is the X95 version. This is pretty much the same version except lengthened for American standards. This is adopted by the Israeli Defense Forces as their standard rifle.
And why did you bring that with you today?
Well, to show, number one, to what?
Hasn't chased anyone down and shot him.
Right. No, it hasn't chased him down. And
it hasn't run off your shoulder and killed somebody.
And number one, I don't really need to have a reason to have a gun on me.
Exactly.
I mean, for crying out loud, Rosa Parks sat in the front of the bus. There's no, I mean, she didn't have to have a reason to sit in front of the bus. I mean, but then again, but she still did. Unfortunately, she got a lot of flack for it, and it's sad on her end that she did get a lot of flack for it. But there's also another lady before that time. She was sitting in front of the bus as well, and she got kicked out. But yeah, after she initiated it, I can't remember her name though, dang it, but she took it to the press, and guess what? All of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, why in the world are these people being treated so horribly? Because they have the same exact rights as some guy with a white skin or anyone.
And another person wants somebody here to define what an assault rifle is.
There's actually no such thing as an assault rifle.
Assault is what is that? An
assault rifle.
Can I have you restate that just because the car that drove by?
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Assault is a verb. You can put any word to describe something that you want, but guess what? Assaulting is a verb.
Yeah, I could take out this pencil and jab somebody in the eye with it just to make this an assault pencil. Are we going to ban all assault pencils?
I was in the Marine Corps for 9 years.
Black pencil.
And the AR-15s or M4s that we have in there are 3-round bursts. You can't get a 3-round burst weapon out here. It's a single shot, 1 bullet for 1 trigger squeeze.
It's exactly the
That's
same
all you're
as
getting.
standard hunting.
Okay.
And yes, I have Jesus gone hunting with.
Okay. Somebody wants to know if your gun is loaded.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well,
an unloaded weapon is pretty much as good as a rock. I mean, that's about as good as that thing right there.
With camera?
Yeah. Got a camera here.
That thing's just as dangerous.
And now somebody would also like you to define a semi-automatic weapon.
Oh, so
1 bullet for 1 trigger squeeze.
Yep. Yeah.
So they said 1 bullet for 1 trigger squeeze. Any other questions any of our viewers have, I would be happy to ask. Just go ahead and type it in the comment section there.
Yeah, cool.
Do you think that there are a lot of misunderstandings with the views that go back and forth with the gun violence issue?
Of course. Everybody wants kids safe.
Yeah.
Like that's what everybody wants, kids to be safe.
Okay.
There's just ways to do it without taking away everybody's guns.
Okay.
Yep. Because one person uses a vehicle to kill, in New York City, kill 12 or whatever that was, and did they automatically blame the auto manufacturer or the automobile? No, they said the madman behind the wheel. Bombers, it's never the bomb, it's the bomber.
But shooters, it's the gun.
Right.
Yeah, some other reasons, yeah.
Okay.
We do have a difference of opinion on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people assume that I'm a Republican because, I believe in guns, and I actually am more of an independent. I was going to go for Gary Johnson, honestly. And I lost friends and family members over a lot of my pro-gun posts during the last election. And, I didn't want either of the main candidates to win, honestly. I would rather have somebody else. I don't even care anybody else, really. Unfortunately, it just turned out the way it did. But we all can find common ground. We all want life. It's just we see different ways of preserving life, and we see different important places. I say the numbers speak for themselves: 600,000 or 32,000.
Well, even then, that number is way overdue because that number includes anything that's related to a firearm, including suicides, gangs, accidental discharges or negligent discharges for any of those people that are watching over there that are absolute gun Nazis. Mm-hmm. But when you bring that number down, we're talking in the tens of thousands. And you start bringing that number even further down if you take away places like Chicago, D.C.
Which already have the strictest gun.
Oh yeah, they have the strictest.
Yeah, I heard about this. It was if we got rid of it's Chicago, Detroit,
D.C., St. Louis, and
New Orleans.
Yeah, I think New Orleans. If we got rid of those 5 states and didn't account for the gun crime in those 5 states, America would drop to 180th in the world for gun crime.
Assault is illegal, so are assault rifles.
Assault.
There's no such thing as an assault rifle.
I mean, yeah.
Assault is illegal.
Assault is
illegal.
Okay, I'm gonna go get some shots of the walk that's going, but there are a lot of people here who were really happy that you talked and kind of showed the other side of it. So they would like to say thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Again, this is News 10. We'll have a story on this tonight at 6 o'clock. So thank you very much. Okay, have a great day, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna spin you back here. Okay, so like I just kind of told them, I'm going to head down kind of to where the protest is ending. That way I can get some more shots and have it in for our 6 o'clock show tonight. So I hope you tune in there. We'll have some more information, some more interviews and whatnot. So thank you guys for watching. I know this was kind of a long video, but appreciate it. And the march is well on its way. It's about a block down that way now. So I'm going to go try to catch them. And we'll have more tonight again on KTVL at 6 o'clock with your connection, Genevieve Grippo.
Hey everybody, turns out at this whole thing, they all left. I ended up getting into a conversation. I know, my whole thing was to come here and crash this thing, but I ended up meeting with these two guys. These guys are awesome. Let me position my camera here really quick.
He knew in the back of his mind that it was bad, that it was very bad. He did not know exact numbers. Once he learned about the numbers, it's mesmerizing. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, I remember getting lost in Portland just in my car because I took the wrong turn to find the water plant in Portland to have a tour, and I tell you what. It was crazy and it was nuts. I literally pulled maybe 2 inches across the crosswalk bar. 3 guys come over and it's like, thank you, I appreciate you. Yeah, I know. And
really wants you to come back here.
I know. And aside from me using up literally about a quarter tank of gas just to get myself out of there.
And then also when you guys go home, look up Mall of America. Look up at Dearborn, Michigan. I mean, it's not even American.
Oh no, it isn't.
It's all Muslim. And Muslim and Christianity, they're contrary one to another. You can't mix them. It will happen. And then in every country that the Muslims go to, they try to start Sharia law, which we're trying to do now. And if you do rape a woman, you have to have another male Muslim go, oh yeah, I seen him do it. Well, that's never going to happen. So they can never be convicted.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there's no way in the world.
Yeah, because the thing is, I was listening to Steven Crowder on this. If every Christian acted like Christ, what would be a better place? Right? It would be great. If every Muslim acted like Muhammad, I know. Well, Muhammad was racist.
Well, he was a pedophile.
He's a rapist. Yeah. Muhammad actually called for the deaths of Jews and Christians multiple times. Some of his last words being killed Jews. So
it just astounds me that people just don't even see that.
No, they don't. They don't want to see. They don't want to see anything that goes against their.
And liberalism is a spirit, guys. Like what does the Bible say? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, against principalities and powers of verse. I'm totally paraphrasing this, but you guys get it. And there's a spirit there. And as Christians, we don't, we're not going to see that. We don't. I mean, we see it from the other side, but these people out here.
They don't see it.
They don't see it. They don't understand it. They can't comprehend it.
Well, the thing is, they're in the dark.
And they're in the dark. Exactly.
So the only way people in the dark see anything is if there's light.
So a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with is
there's light. Exactly, because it blinds them. Yeah.
So it's definitely a spiritual problem, and I sit there and think, if we can just get them to see this or get them to see that,
I know.
To see Jesus, then I think a lot of things will change. But that's
unfortunately people don't want to because they were indoctrinated to be pushed away from it.
Yeah, there was, but they're somewhere that
way.
Well,
they're infiltrating back this way, come back to their cars.
I'm guessing anti-gun.
Yeah, anti-guns.
You guys told the cops, even though the burglars out with you in my window.
Well, I am 911. and because of the rising cost of ammunition and taxes I'm planning on putting on them, guess what? There will be no warning shots.
Gun control is using both hands. I'm sorry, Mr.
Yep.
You know, even a good cop will tell you that we can't protect. We can only show up after.
Oh yeah, exactly. I have friends I go to church with, and heck, my uncle, he is actually a bodyguard for the governor of Washington. And he said, if I wasn't physically, if I wasn't on call at his beck and call to be here with him everywhere I go with a firearm, guess what? I couldn't do squat.
And that's Jay Inslee trying to take, because I'm from Washington State too, and Jay Inslee, yeah, he's trying to take away the guns, but yeah, he expects a guy with a gun to guard him. Oh my gosh.
What is it, new thing that just came out with Oregon legislation?
Ooh, what we got?
NRA, what is it? The NRA just posted this the other day, of course. It's like trying.
Personally, I'm against the NRA right now.
They're not doing their job.
No, they're. I mean, granted, it's mainly the people that are up at, like Wayne LaPierre that are pretty much calling for the bump stock bans and everything like that.
I mean, the bump stock is really nothing anyways. Yeah.
It's going to do the exact same thing.
Well, that's the thing. You know, we're going to ban Jerry Mitchell from the country as well. Are we going to kill him? But anyway, aside from that, that bump stock. Even though it's like, yeah, the bump stock is just a novelty item to me and to 99.9% of the people out there with a firearm say, it is just a meaningless device to have fun. Yeah. That is it. Hey, how's it going? Thank you.
That's right.
IWY Tavor. Yep, standard issue except for the extra 3.5 inches of barrel length.
Yeah.
Yep, other than that, this being only semi-automatic, this is what Israel's arms their people with.
Yeah. I will say it sucks for that one guy that freaking cut his gun in half.
You know, honestly,
he just broke the law.
Yeah, I was gonna say destroying a gun and break the law at the same time.
Not that, but he shortened the barrel before he cut it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
honestly, I wish no one said anything about that whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
So because it's like, guys, you guys want to get rid of the Hughes Amendment, right? You guys want to get rid of the NFA? Guess what? Shut your freaking mouths. I know, just shut up. You guys keep asking stupid questions, start pretending people to do this, but guess what? You're not helping our cause out. If you want this to happen, guess what? The best way to do it is to have a peaceful non-compliance. Like the bump stock ban over in Illinois, no, not one person turned on their bump stock or their rate increasing device. Not one. Yeah. That right there is peaceful non-compliance.
I'm going to interrupt this stuff. Earlier this week, Michigan Petition 42, now refiled as Petition 43, was filed with the Oregon Secretary of State ban on semi-automatic firearms.
Yep, it's including handguns, shotguns as well.
Under this proposal, legal gun owners would be required to surrender or transfer their firearms within 120 days of the initiative becoming law or face felony charges.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I don't know anybody that's going to comply with that.
Well, in Douglas County, any one of those cops will not comply whatsoever.
So what happens when...
hate that feature.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
That is the stupidest feature on a truck ever. Let's ban it.
Yeah, recently I put on my wall, I was like, we need to start banning packages.
I could kill a lot more people with the bumper than I ever could with a rifle.
Oh, right? Hitches do more damage than guns.
Yeah, man. My shin would certainly fucking speak to that.
Oh, man. Jeez, I don't know how many times I've chunked off my shin so many times, and then now my dad has a little more lift up truck, he's about like that. His hitch is way up there.
Oh, it looks like
all of a sudden I slow down.
Oh, wow, what do you know?
It's like, oh!
Did something go the wrong way?
Yeah.
You guys didn't miss out on much.
They all just peter out?
It kind of like, people would like fall back, get back there, and then it's like they were talking to this guy, he yelled at him, he's like, you with the AK-47, blah, blah, it's not an AK, it's not even an AK. Well, you with the assault rifle, it's not an assault, you with the machine gun, it's not, it's an Armalite rifle.
Exactly.
It's a standard gun.
You know, I just about brought that gun with me. I just about brought my 80% AR-15. I just about did.
Then our other friend is standing there, and the chick in a pink hat, pussy hat. She's like, he's scary. I don't like him. The guy's standing there, unarmed, right? He's just hanging out, like talking to somebody. So we dubbed him the assault guy. This is scary.
Oh man, that's assault rifle.
Assault rifle.
I love the fact that the people on there on the live stream that AR-15 is like.
Well, because a lot of people don't know. You know what I mean? They legitimately don't know.
It's like,
so whenever people ask me questions, it seems stupid, but I just answer it as best as I can.
Take care.
Because then they're going to learn something. Hopefully. See ya. There you go, guys.
Stay out of trouble. Stay safe.
Oh yeah. It's nice to know there's some other awesome individuals out there. We're not all stupid.
So how many people actually follow the group?
Oh, the whole group? I don't know. Like 1,000 people there.
No, yeah, sure.
Oh, without you with us? They're kind of intermixed with the group all over the place.
Yeah, I was
you can hear people shouting back and forth. They get pushed off from a yard. And
they called the cops over. The cops were like,
yeah, some lady in a big cat. Because some guy, the whole thing is, some guy's like, with all due respect, you're wrong. This isn't a machine gun. And then she walked over and got the cop and said, like, this guy's doing stuff. And all he said was, you're wrong. And the cop comes up, he's like, well, you know, you're entitled to your opinion or whatever, but so are they, and this and that. And he's like, I didn't even do anything. He had legitimately no idea what he even did. But she got pissed off when he said, with all due respect, you're wrong. This isn't a machine gun.
I know.
Why you threatened me with this machine gun?
I know. It's kind of funny. There was a couple of cops that drove by, and he gave me 2 thumbs up when he drove by. It's like, cool, sweet. And I was like, I'm on the good side of these guys.
Yeah.
It's like, it's actually crazy. I guarantee if you take Ashland pictures, the rest of this county would be so red.
That's not true though. I mean, like, red maybe. But when I went to Ashland with my rifle, there was more people that lived in Ashland that supported rifles. They were like, they just didn't even know this thing was happening. They had no idea. So when I explained it to them, they were like, well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
No, it needs to be out there at least a couple weeks in advance.
We need to attack each issue one at a time without bringing politics in. Let people follow
and also have the group not run by, especially I know this, most of them run by the teachers.
Right.
Yeah. They say it's a student-run thing. No, it's mostly teachers.
Not at all. And not all teachers feel that way.
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
So, I mean, you look at each individual without politics.
What class do you teach?
Most hippies in Ashland.
Diesel, mechanics, RCC. So not normal.
No, you're still a better teacher than psychology 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that class.
Oh. This guy thinks they want to think. They say they want to do one thing, and I said the whole outside. I said, save the kids, we have guns. Be a kid in a pro-gun shirt.
Yeah. Spring break came around when we were in school. We were in the woods shooting.
Well, and that's the other thing is like a lot of the kids, like everyone complained that there were kids that were getting punished for wanting to go protest, but nobody cared about kids that were being punished for not wanting to protest.
Right.
They're like, I'm sorry, this is about guns. And I'm
you want to come to school? You're suspended.
You're about school shootings, then yeah, I'll jump on.
Well, they did that first march where the kids walked out of class. So the next day, a bunch of students all over the United States wanted to do a walkout that was pro-gun, and the teachers told them, if you leave this, you're going to be expelled. And they're like, what the fuck, half the school left yesterday.
We got an email at RCC saying to let the students walk out. I told my students, you're going to leave the fucking letter here if you walk out.
That's their way of saying, oh, I don't want to go to class.
Well, to me, it should be because of pro-gun or anything like that. It doesn't matter. You can walk out of class because you want to do something else other than being in a class.
Teachers shouldn't be discussing fucking politics anyway.
No, that is not what the fuck you're being paid.
That is not their job.
I actually took an economics class, and it was one of the most, which actually did it very self-centered. It was great. They talked about bad things, good things. Yeah, that makes sense.
I took a writing class, and they made us write a paper on Islamophobia. Why I'm a bad person. You didn't even ask me if I'm scared. Why do I gotta write a paper about them scared?
No, honestly, I'm more afraid of sticks driving semi-trucks. Those guys.
I just feel bad for the guys that gotta work on it. They got a hole right above the gear shit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh. I know my uncle, he drives for UPS Normal, but he had to take a different truck back up because one had broken in. Is it getting cold? What the heck happened to spring? I heard it was getting snow. Oh, there's snow in all the passes.
How do you live in Eagle Point and go to Crater? Right? That's a
serious question.
Scratch that part on YouTube.
The power of editing.
I guess they feel so bad. They're like, he lives in Eagle Point. Just let him.
Yeah. As long as he's not playing sports, we don't care.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all really that is about. Unless we're friends, that's about it. I went to UBC and I lived all the way down the road. We were about a half hour away from school. One way.
When Columbine happened, right, like a week before that, I got suspended for getting in a fight and I had a pocket knife in my pocket. Columbine happened, they called me in and fucking expelled me. Wow. That's Eagle Point for you.
I tell you what, my dad's been to the tax office before, the tax judge or whatever. Many times, he's always walking with a little minute to do everything. But all of a sudden, that happened, and Sandy Hook happened. All of a sudden, it's like, no, you can't have this. It's like, what the freaking hell changed? I've seen you look at my fucking iPhone and like, and all of a sudden now you're riding my freaking ass about it? Yeah. Kick the handcuffs, I'll hold on the opposite.
Getting out of control, especially when people decide to do it.
You're supposed to be.
I hate this.
It's kind of a neat idea.
I was calling that.
I just wanted to watch. But I was reading the whole thing. They said that like Antifa's basically going to be the watchdogs for all of these protests, and they're going to show up everywhere. Our local chapter here is out by Red Robin. That parking lot there. They're supposed to be here, but I don't think they have that.
People said they were going to show up, so they're not even going to bother.
That's that real mistake.
And same thing with, I went to the...
That'd be the biggest mistake.
To the repeal, or the recall Kate Brown protest over in the... Here we go. So, nice to meet you. First off, I'm Chase Hukel. Nice to meet you. You are?
Nice to meet you, Paige.
Paige?
I'm Taylor.
Nice to meet you, Taylor. Okay, so, excuse me. Okay, so I'm just doing a little bit of an interview for my YouTube channel. Okay. We're doing a little bit of a thing called, let me just make sure it's set up right. I'm just trying to get like out of the way of people as they walk by. So we're doing a little bit of a thing called Change My Mind. And personally, I'm very pro Second Amendment, and I was curious like what your thoughts are, why you're here, and maybe we can find some common ground.
Okay. Well, I guess I could start with that I don't actually think that the gun laws are going to help as much as enforcing school safety, but I do think that raising the age limit to 21 might be a little bit better, but again, I don't know how much it can change. I mean, I guess I'm in full support of what everyone's doing. I just wish that they would have mentioned more on how to improve security in other ways too. So I think that would have been nice.
So in that case, what would your stance be on the arming of teachers?
The arming of teachers? I'm kind of in between. I feel like some serious background checks need to happen, and
well, background check. Well, the thing is, backgrounds don't help, especially if somebody has never committed a crime. In the case of like the, I think there's a shooter in, I think it might have been California. I think there was a shooter in California, and they did a background check on him. He never committed a crime before, so in that case, you know, it's not really a...
Yeah, and I mean, just doing like evaluations, like mental evaluations, because I do know some teachers that, you know, you don't want to give guns, and I would want it to be, you know, concealed, so you don't know which teacher actually has a gun and which doesn't. So it would be kind of separated through the school, and I think that would, I don't know, I think that would help, maybe, but again, I was listening to this NPR thing, and it was talking about how there is like times when so much adrenaline and fear is going through you that you can just like not even remember you have the gun or you drop it. Like they threw out so many examples of people who've been armed and who have, you know, they're ready for something like this to happen, and then they fail because they are so nervous. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just in between on everything.
Okay, so what about you?
So I grew up in a really like hunting-oriented family, so I'm definitely not against guns.
Okay.
I just think it's important that they're in the hands of the right people, and like I don't really know how to like express how I feel.
Okay, so I read your sign. It says Ally Next, Sandy Hook, Parkland, Review. So one thing I noticed about the and a lot of people noticed about the shootings is where are most of the shootings occurring?
In schools.
Okay, schools. What about like movie theaters?
Movie theaters.
Malls.
Yeah.
Concerts. Okay. What do all those have in common?
They'll have a lot of people. Crowds. The
Gun-free zones.
Yeah.
Those are all actually gun-free zones. So I think it actually tells people who are going to commit the crimes, go here because nobody's going to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
And it's one reason why I like to talk about Britain. Britain has actually had a massive spike in crime, even though they've banned their guns. So actually in London alone last year, London had over 500 acid attacks. Just alone, yeah. And people have lost eyes, ears, their faces melted off with battery gas. And of course, there's the London Bridge bombing. Everybody remembers that. So Britain, despite banning all guns, why do you think that all this crime is still going on?
Because you can't. I mean, there's so many different ways you can harm people, and if somebody is just not right in the head, they're gonna find another way. Like, I don't know. I think that. There's so much type of violence that you could just, you can read about it, and then, something just happens. I mean, I don't know, because I don't think like that, but it is really hard for me to imagine someone wanting to hurt people because I'm so loving, but, yeah, I just think there's just so much other stuff that you can just do the same thing with, and, like, the whole acid thing, like, I've read stuff about that before, and it's insane, and it's horrible, and it's just as bad, really. So.
Did you know that Britain is actually putting in legislation to ban all knives from the country now?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, they actually they've been having marches lately about banning all knives from their country because knife crime and stabbings have skyrocketed since.
That's a bit far.
Yeah.
That's a bit far.
Okay, we can agree that that's just like way too far. Okay.
Yeah.
I just lost my train of thought. Okay. So right now in America, if you were to place us like on a list of like which countries have the highest gun crime, America is somewhere I want to say like 30th or something like that. But if we get rid of, let's say, Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Compton, and if we got rid of those 4 or 5 cities, America drops down to 190th.
Wow.
Out of 189th out of 190 countries.
Okay.
So, what do those places do you think have in common with like Chicago?
The violence.
But also, they also have the strictest gun laws in the country.
Yeah.
So So I think if so, do you think that if we were looser with gun laws, do you think gun crime would go down?
I mean, gosh, I don't know, because it's just so. What do you think? I don't know.
It's not the weapons that commit the crime. It's the people.
Yes.
So I mean, that's what I was looking for. The mental state of people. You have to, bring more mental hospitals and stuff like that, and give better treatment for the people that do.
Yeah.
And then the people that threaten it, like, take it seriously instead of, passing it by, because, the one guy in Parkland,
Nicholas Cruz.
What?
Nicholas Cruz?
Yeah, Nicholas Cruz, sorry. He had threatened about he had talked about it, and one student reported it, and no one ever did anything. And
I think we can agree he was mentally ill.
Yeah.
I think they caught him. He was either like choking his neighbor's chicken or like blew it away with a shotgun or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, mentally ill, he should not have been able to acquire a firearm.
Yes.
We can agree on that. And I think that's where I stand with the likes of Ben Shapiro and Dana Lash. I don't know if you know who Dana Lash is, a spokeswoman of the NRA.
I've heard the name.
Okay. Yeah, but we can agree. So, what are your thoughts on the Second Amendment, or how much do you know?
I honestly agree with it fully. I think that is really important for us to keep ourselves safe. But what else I think is there's a line where we have to just pull back a little. Like, I don't want the amendment to change necessarily. I would rather it's be enforced in like a different way. I just feel like they could just do so much more than just say, like, yeah, anyone can have a gun. I guess, I don't know, because you can go to a pawn shop and like.
Actually, no. Pawn shops actually do put in background checks several times.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I don't know. I heard this guy talking today about how he went and got a gun in 15 minutes, but can't go get like.
Actually, no. The average wait time in America to purchase firearms is I think it's about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the average.
Then I don't know. It might have been like. I don't know then, but.
Yeah. So I think information there might have been a little bit skewed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I agree with the Second Amendment. I just. I don't know. I'm more on the standpoint of making sure the people who have mental issues get help.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Thank you. I'll shut this off. And boop.
Spike. Crime spike.
Yeah, some violent crime has gone up.
There,
in Australia.
You know what eminent domain is?
Yes, I hate it.
Eminent domain.
Hey, no problem. I'm sorry. Just all right, dude.
Sorry. Nice to meet you. I'm Chase.
Nice to meet you, man.
Eminent domain
Nicholas,
is
nice
the
to meet you.
reason this school exists.
Don't worry, program.
Because at some point the government came in and said, we need to have city streets. So whoever owns this piece of land, we are taking that piece of land.
Which I don't agree with.
Okay, the people were also reimbursed. But
many of them probably sold it willingly.
Yeah, and some were forced.
Right,
Yeah,
some
the
were
ones that were
forced.
forced, it's
some
wrong.
were
Build
forced,
the road somewhere
but
else.
they. How are you? Long time no see. How you doing, buddy? I have forgotten your name. Nicholas. How's it going? See, I know this guy. For the common good. All right, that is the basis of eminent domain. Now, when eminent domain is used to kick a bunch of people out of their houses so that Donald Trump can build a casino and make
I don't
or
think
a wall.
eminent domain is.
Do you
for
hate the wall?
I hate the wall.
Oh my God! Now I'm going to shake your
I
hand.
hate the wall. The wall's stupid. Because the immigration laws are the problem. That's why people are coming across the Rio in the desert.
Border wall. Okay, I'm gonna shake your hand too. I'll throw you with it. I have a cartoon
common ground.
that a friend that my father lives 5 miles from the Mexican border in southern Arizona. He sent me this cartoon years ago of the 15-foot border wall and Raul's 16-foot ladder run. Okay. Okay. So.
Yeah. The problem with a wall is you got to build it the whole span, but someone only has to get through in one spot. That's why walls
And
are
there are
stupid.
fucking mile-long tunnels in San
unless
Diego
you're patrolling
that
the
go
entire
from
wall.
a half a mile on that side of the wall to
Walls
half
are
a mile.
stupid for the same reason that gun control is stupid. It violates people's rights, and it won't stop anything, but the people that don't need to be stopped.
The only gun control I am trying to get is background checks so that people who are crazy shouldn't be.
We already have background
Well,
checks.
but the problem is
Who defines what's crazy? What if the government just says that people who are political dissenters are crazy?
Well, the,
what if the
Parkland shooter, the Parkland shooter who had been published on the internet saying, "I want to go shoot up a bunch of kids at a high school."
and all complete failure by law enforcement.
We kind of have to define mental illness because the CDC just recognized video game addiction as a mental illness.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So how do you?
So that means
how do you recognize mental illness?
Yeah.
Does that mean that just because?
Well, but
like Contra,
the brand new spending bill that Trump just painfully signed a couple of days ago, yesterday I guess it was, also includes reinstatement of the ability for the CDC to use cause of death gun or bullet as a research tool. So now, even though the CDC has been able to say, drowned in a bathtub with use of toaster, or drowned in a bathtub by strangulation, or got their toe stuck in their bathtub. There's 17 million different ways somebody can die in the United States. But the one thing that the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, which is one of the primary sources of health, life, and death-related research, the NRA is prohibiting, up until now, the CDC from doing research on the phrase gun death.
Well,
death
but
by
more
gun.
people die by
Dickey
knife.
bill-
Than,
the
Dickey bill is what instituted that.
Yes.
And even the Dickey bill didn't say they couldn't research it. They just simply didn't research it because they didn't want to
couldn't
lose
get funding.
Because the bill was not written clearly.
Okay, here's an analogy. I'm going to shoot you if you do research on gun violence. Go ahead and do gun violence. Do Do whatever you want.
No,
I am totally
they didn't
okay
even
with you doing gun.
They didn't even say that though. All right. They said unless you were not allowed to use it to support anti-gun measures. But even that was very ambiguous.
Here's the biggest thing of it all. You can put gun control in, but the one thing people keep forgetting about is a thing called 3D printers.
Right.
And you can
And
print
3D printers
just
can
about
print-
anything.
yes, that's fine.
And that's the thing is that even if you were to put in certain laws and restrictions and stuff, people will still find a way to get what they want.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Ruby Ridge?
Yes.
Do you know? So you know.
I know.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know? A mother holding a child was murdered by the government.
Waco. Yeah.
And Waco similar, but Ruby Ridge is very relevant in the gun debate because for all the people who laughed at me and mocked me for saying that gun control is violence, do you know what precipitated the entire Ruby Ridge standoff?
There were too many people in too small of a space.
No.
With
Nope,
too many.
nope. Everything you're saying is wrong.
Too many weapons.
No. That was more Waco, which was nonsense. Ruby Ridge started because the government tricked Randy Weaver into, they wanted to buy a shot, they had an undercover person go try to trick him into buying a shotgun because he lived near some white supremacists and they wanted to extort him into being a rat on this white supremacist group. And he didn't want to be involved in that. He wasn't part of their group. He didn't want to be a rat. He didn't want to stay away from it. So the government tricked him. They had him sell him a shotgun. They asked him to saw off the barrel, and he's like, oh, actually, you can't. He knew you couldn't have less than an 18-inch barrel, so he sawed it off to the legal limit. Then they convinced him, because he didn't know it was illegal to have less than an overall 26-inch length on a shotgun. They convinced him to saw off the stock. He created a too short shotgun. It wasn't a short barrel.
That he could carry under his.
That he was selling to somebody. Someone wanted to buy a gun from him. Then they said, hey, actually, I'm a Fed. You might not have known this, but that's illegal. Now you have to either be an informant for us and risk your life by getting involved with the white supremacy group, or, we're going to arrest you. And he said, nope. And he went up to his cabin, and everything kind of devolved from there over the course of a year. The point is,
I am a proud Yamaha owner, and that should be illegal because that violates my right to have fucking hearing.
Except for,
my point is,
I agree with that guy having loud pipes because it actually helps people know that he's there.
What?
It keeps him safe.
I can't hear you. What? What'd you say?
I drive a scooter around.
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Almost hit me all the time.
My point is, something as mundane
stay away from cars.
as a
cutting the stock off of a shotgun.
Yeah, as a restriction on how long a gun can be got.
Can you help me?
Yeah, can I ask you information?
What's up, ma'am?
I just want to know the march is good.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
It was over about 1 o'clock.
About 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure. Just because I go from Sunny Valley and I live every day and I watch it as I was driving the Washington March and I thought that's something that I don't get. But I asked you about
Oh, there's a lot of people wanting to take away rights from people, so.
Oh yeah, I know that. Well, which side are you on?
Well, I'm on the side where I carry a handgun.
We're on the side of Liberty.
Oh, you're farther gone.
Yeah,
we're on the side of Civil Liberties.
Hang on 1 second.
Are you pro-gun?
Do you want to explain to me? Can I listen?
Sure. Do you want to park here and talk for me?
I'm a substitute teacher.
Good. Can I park and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Join
Park and join us, by all means.
I'm fighting an uphill battle over here, ma'am. So. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not fighting.
I actually don't know what
this is not a fight.
I can guess.
No, it's not.
Actually, one thing I actually think this would be good on is put on a radio show. Get some.
Well, YouTube channel right here.
There are plenty of radio shows where
Chase Hubert.
What's your name, by the way?
I'm Chase.
Chase David.
David. Nice to meet you.
So you're on the pro-gun side.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Pro-gun.
Awesome. I wasn't sure. I know. So I was working.
I'm just recording this for my own posterity.
Have you seen the Ghost Gun video, Senator Kevin De Leon, where he talks about? It's a very famous gun.
I think
is that like the cell phone
This
shooting?
is it's nice to meet you.
I'm Jared. I made that video.
Are you all for the gun?
Well, we're working on this gentleman here.
These guys all have guns. They all have loaded weapons.
Okay, all
on
of
their
them.
person.
You don't know that.
I don't. Nope.
Nick,
Okay.
you don't have a gun?
Oh, I see it right
Yeah,
now.
it's right here.
He's got that right there.
Okay.
He's got one hanging on the back.
Okay.
He's got one on his hip. I don't know where he.
Nope.
And I still don't know.
So you have the permission, right?
we have a civil liberty outlined in the Constitution of the United
Right.
States.
And why do you need your gun?
Well, I don't make decisions about what other people need.
Yeah.
I just do what I see fit, and it's a liberty, so I have the ability to exercise that.
And I think one of the main reasons that people really do want to own guns
Yeah.
is because of Second Amendment rights, which state that the right of the people shall not be infringed, and a well-regulated militia. And a lot of people want to define what the militia is. The militia is the people. So, a well-regulated militia being
okay,
necessary.
don't speak too fast. Don't speak too fast. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
So it says in our Constitution,
Yes.
in the Bill of Rights,
Yes.
that a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security and freedom of a free state, the
Yeah.
right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
To fight against the
Okay.
militia if they decide to attack us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which has happened before,
So
way back in the day.
you all need guns to defend yourself.
Well,
yes. Well, in
we
a
don't.
way,
We don't say we don't use needs. So civil liberties are not defined by necessity. They're defined by the legal ability. So we would say, most people would say that self-defense is a right that's endowed upon us by our birth, by our Creator.
Okay.
So because we are humans,
Yeah.
we have human rights, whether the Constitution says it or not.
Okay.
But we just so happen to have a Constitution that does actually secure our freedom to self-defense in bearing arms.
I don't have a card here. I was just going to write this
So
down.
that's what it is. It's not necessarily that we need to, but with any right, I don't have the need to speak, but I do anyway. And no one tells me that I don't need to do something.
No one has a need to smoke. It literally does nothing good for you. Yeah. It just ultimately kills you. And
Okay.
yet, I think people have a right to smoke if they want to. You can't stop them.
But
I think
if I'm gonna do something that's going to infringe upon your personal space. So my hands are out. I'm not
That's
carrying a
fine.
weapon. You guys already know that.
I'm not concerned.
Okay, this right here.
So you're arguably.
Well, hold on.
Okay, sure. If you come up and actively blow in my face,
I'm gonna.
that's an argument.
That in certain circumstances, like on the other side of that fence, I can be arrested for what I just did.
Well, that's assault.
Yeah.
What you just did.
Well, yeah.
Same with spitting on someone.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Which happens today.
So that's different.
It's like the same principle as why you should be able to arrest somebody if they're pointing a gun in their face, but if they just own one, if they just manufacture one, if they just want to buy one, if they just want to sell one.
If I walked up and I was legally smoking a cigarette, and from here I blew in your face, and the wind happened to carry it and blow it into your face.
Yeah, it's
back to my
rude,
movie
but
theater question.
So if you
does that
intent to
justify
harm-
you since I was violating your space or I was assaulting you? Does that justify
No,
you
that's
pulling
just
your weapon
silly.
and
At
blowing my
some
brains out?
No, the law.
But how do I know that? You have a gun.
You
having
don't.
That
a
doesn't
gun
mean he's
is
going to
not
whip it out and
reasonable
shoot you just for
I mean,
smoking a
this person
cigarette.
could have had a knife and stabbed you instead.
You
I mean,
knowing
it's
that
How do you
does
know they're not
not,
gonna
different
punch you?
weapons.
does not constitute taking away our rights.
But I don't fear that you're going to punch me or pull a knife on me or shoot me because you have demonstrated intellect and the ability to debate and reason. Now, I can only say that because I've been talking to you for half an hour.
But your
If you
fear-
walk into a gun shop and say, I want to buy a gun so that I can defend myself by shooting people.
How many gun stores have you actually spent time in?
Never, I don't.
Okay, I can tell you, I've spent a lot of time in them. I've probably bought and sold
and that is your
50 or
right.
60 guns over the last decade.
And if one of your
let him
guns
finish.
shows up
Let him
at this
finish.
school and
Hold on,
kills
hold
20
on.
people,
Hold on.
aren't you in some way responsible for that?
No,
not at all.
No.
okay.
Can we take turns? Can we
Is
take turns?
Anheuser-Busch responsible for drunk driving deaths?
Is the cocaine dealer responsible
No!
for
Cocaine
death?
should be legal. I don't know why cocaine keeps coming up.
Everything should be legal so you can regulate it. and
every
make sure
right
people
has
aren't-
Whoa, 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 whoa,
I
whoa!
disagree with that.
You just used the R word. Regulation. Turn your sign over. Turn your sign over. Regulation.
We don't all have to have the exact same political philosophy.
Government. Government.
Well, I don't mean like regulation as in like full control, meaning like, so like if somebody really wanted to go do cocaine, there's a facility they could go to do it so they're not harming or putting people.
I love that idea. I love that idea.
Yeah. I've actually done that in a couple countries and that's just made things better.
Yeah.
So which country? Well, which country do you think they're doing well right now?
Well,
which country would you like to live in?
So
America.
America
Well,
any
well,
first world has the
country is
most
doing pretty
liberty.
well right
so
now.
if you're looking for the freedom of
The
self-defense,
The freedom of what?
of self-defense.
Self-defense.
Yeah.
So I'm 81 years old.
What's that?
I'm 81 years old. My neighbor wants to kill me because I'm a lesbian and he hates lesbian.
That's actually a great reason.
Yeah,
to
you should get a
support
gun.
Guns,
Yeah,
because
you
if
should
your
definitely-
neighbor wants
you
to
should
kill
have a
you,
nice gun. Yeah.
You know, you're-
Okay,
you're-
so what you're telling me, I should have a gun.
Yeah, you should be able to protect yourself.
To protect myself.
How else would you, as a 80-year-old small woman,
Right.
expect to defend yourself?
Okay, well, when my neighbors who have guns say, come and call us if it gives you trouble, I'll come with my gun. What do I answer?
Wait, when your neighbor does what again?
Different neighbor.
Oh, another neighbor.
Okay,
We got
Another-
the anti. Are you sound Jewish? Are you Jewish?
No,
You're-
no, I'm French Canadian.
French Canadian. Okay.
And I'm not Jewish, but I want to
Okay.
finish.
Yeah.
My
What were you saying?
argument on this is that we have really nice neighbors, and most of them have guns. And they say if he gives you trouble because he has mental health trouble. And he really hates lesbian, he hates Jews, he hates black people, and when he drinks, he doesn't know what he does anymore. So if he drinks and he gets the gun that is supposed to be locked, but he knows how to unlock it, and he is drunk, then if he decides to go, we live right here. You will come with this gun and to kill us.
Yeah.
And the other neighbors say, immediately, and even they said, you see, use this, the alarm of your, and we'll come immediately.
Yeah.
Sounds like good neighbors.
Yeah.
They are very good neighbors. My answer is, who's going to get killed?
Well,
Probably-
so the aggressor theoretically is the one who should die.
Theoretically.
Should, but who's going to get killed?
This is a good guy with a gun who the cops mistaken for the bad guy with the gun.
She lives in Sunny Valley. The cops aren't going to be there till well after the smoke clears.
No, they don't come. Cops don't come.
It's like 30 minutes left at Grants Pass.
No, they don't come.
So it's a waste of time for guys.
So who's going to
a nice
get
place.
killed? He might get killed first.
Well,
I might
if I
get
may,
killed first.
let me talk about
someone else could get killed.
So you just wish that nobody had guns.
I mean, you die by
I don't go
strangulation,
that far
or maybe
because
you
of the
die
way I
by
grew up.
a knife.
Well, if I may,
or
let me
maybe
talk
you
about
bash
Dana
your
Lash.
head in with a rock.
Because I was reading Dana Lash's book. It was called Flyover Nation. And in this book, she talks about the divide in America, about how it's no longer north and south. It's flyover and coastal. You know, there's the coastal New York.
Or I would
right?
say it's actually rural and urban.
Yeah, yeah, well,
Really
yeah,
is.
she talks about that too. But one of the first things that she talks about is why she's pro-gun. Is it was the middle of August, right? Super late at night. All of a sudden, her aunt and uncle, right? Uncle is super drunk, bad guy, gets drunk, gets the gun, right? She escapes, right, from this abusive husband, right? Runs miles through the woods, right? Because the husband had the only gun. So runs miles through the woods to get to Dana Lash's house, right? And of course, she's on 8 at this time. And her parents had a gun, and it was the just these people waiting for this the good guy with the gun, waiting for the bad guy with the gun. Bad guy never showed up because he knew, okay, these people have guns. I probably don't want to die today. So I think if, like, for example, in places like Texas, where crime is very low with guns, where everybody has weapons, gun crime will go down. And what is it?
What happened
Like,
2 weeks after the park, or 2 weeks after the Vegas massacre? 23 people got killed in a church in Texas.
I mean, the one where the guy with an AR-15 chased
stopped.
down and stopped the
How
shooter?
many-
Yeah.
After 23 people.
So is that an argument for a person who is better equipped?
By a lunatic with a gun. The only thing I'm trying to say is we should be careful not to let lunatics have guns.
Hold on.
Okay, so like Nicholas Cruz. Nicholas Cruz shouldn't have been able to get a gun, right? Right? Obviously mental ill. That he shot somebody else's chicken or something like that. Something
He
like
did
that.
all sorts of
Yeah. Police called to his house, multiple times.
20 times.
Okay,
Over 20.
Okay, over 20 times.
Yeah.
We can agree, mentally ill, she's not even able to get a gun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, if somebody really wants to hurt somebody, they can. It's like back in, like in Japan in 2016, there was a guy who ran into a disabled home, stabbed 40 people, killed 22 with a knife.
Right.
And, I mean, if people really want to hurt
there was
somebody,
a
they're
knife massacre
going to.
just a week or two
whether,
ago
you know.
in the United States. Right after the Sandy Hook shooting, this is a good guy with a knife argument. Right after the Sandy Hook shooting, like 2 days later, 2 cops, body armor, multiple guns, years of training. They go to the gun range once a month to get recertified. They got called to some kind of thing at a grocery store, and those 2 cops were assassinated at the grocery store. This is a day or 2 after.
Yeah, I remember the situation.
The Sandy Hook thing. Now, from that perspective, from that event, everybody, the entire country was thinking about 19 6- and 7-year-olds killed by a lunatic with a gun. 2 other lunatics with guns set up this ambush. They set up an ambush at this grocery store, and they killed 2 cops. 2 of the best guys with the best guns. Guns like that. Okay. That
So
gun.
you just answered your own thing. It was
Okay,
an ambush.
so but it was an ambush. But this was the best scenario for good guys with guns.
No.
That's not the best scenario.
Do you want a small lesson in tactics? Since we go back to movies, since you're a fellow movie
I don't know
buff.
anything about
that.
What is the greatest action movie of all time?
Bambi.
Die Hard. No, it's Die Hard. John McClane has a gun. They don't know he has a gun, so he doesn't get killed. He's able to take him out. Ambush versus like element of surprise.
Shoot the glass. Why? He doesn't have any shoes on.
Yeah, but
I know the movie.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, if you didn't, then you'd have to leave right now.
Well,
that should be
my
illegal.
parking meter expired over an hour.
What about Dirty Harry?
Yeah.
Dirty Harry, bad guy with a gun, good guy
So
stops it.
do you all have difference of opinions? Because I could see you have difference of opinions, right?
I think we're all pretty unified on gun rights. We all believe that.
Nick, can you go stand over there, please? I am a lifelong tax and spend liberal pacifist who thinks guns are for one thing, and that is taking away life.
But you're not really a pacifist because
Actually,
even to no, you aren't, because even to support tax and spend, you're supporting the government going out and taking something from
Yeah,
people.
that's
That's
true.
hardly peaceful.
Yeah, that's fine. You're just hiring someone else to do it. That's not pacifism.
If I could get away with taking your gun away from you without possibly dying in the process, I would try that.
So is everyone a reasonable threat to you?
Like, you just don't, I mean,
like, what kind of world is that?
In a civilized society, nobody is a threat to me.
There is no
Where are we?
such thing
Where are
as
we
a
right now?
100% civil society.
Where are we
And
right
the
now?
more people have guns, the less civil we are.
That is incorrect.
Absolutely
No.
incorrect.
No.
And yet, hold on, let me
No, but
let me
listen,
sink that right now.
how many, just hold on. How many believe what he just said?
No one.
No, I
That-
no,
that's
I
outrageous.
no.
I
We're
can
only 2
prove
here,
that beyond
right?
any shadow of a
It's
doubt.
only him and I.
That's
Do
anti-American.
you believe that if there's no guns, or do you believe that more guns creates an uncivil society?
I don't have your kind of thinking because I come from a different country.
A
I'm a
vassal state
woman
of
and I'm
England.
81 years old.
I just wanted to bring something up because one thing I know a lot of people
There are lots of
don't
good
realize
ones.
is that
They use them for
we
shooting
can
things
put bans or make it harder and harder
They're
to get
incredibly
certain guns.
violent in Canada.
But
They
with
play
3D printers nowadays,
hockey, and those
it's
fuckers
very easy
would
to be able to print
kill
something
any
like
of us
this
with their bare hands.
and then put it together
There's
and
actually
have
some
no
actually
regulation on it
nice
whatsoever.
guns.
There's actually
People can have
gangs who have
If
actually
you think that
been
more guns
caught doing
makes
that. They
people
buy a machine,
less civilized.
one of the expensive
That's
ones,
right.
and it prints out a full
That's
gun.
correct.
Let me ask you a couple questions.
I would point out
Do you
that
think that Americans have more guns today than they have in the past?
Yeah.
It's true. Statistically, they do.
There is more
Americans-
than one gun in America. There's more guns in America than people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 74% of adult Americans do not own guns, and half of all the guns in America are owned by 3% of the population.
So the point is,
Wow,
the point
I'm
is,
part of 3%.
yes, there are more guns today in America
I own
than
an
ever
old
before.
school,
We have more gun rights today than we've ever had.
military
Concealed
jacket
carry rights have
back in the
expanded
day.
greatly. you know, the assault weapons ban that was passed in 1994 ended in 2004, and since then the AR-15 has become the best-selling rifle in America.
Hallelujah!
There is.
This is a gun. This is a good thing.
Yes. Well, the next thing I'm going to get to is definitely not bad. There are, by any reasonable metric, more guns now than there have ever been in America.
Yes.
And yet, and I don't think this is because of there being more guns, but it certainly blows a hole in the idea that people get less civilized as there become more guns. And yet, over the last 30 years, the murder rate has decreased from a peak of over 10 per 100,000 in the late 80s to about 4.5 per 100,000 today. Every violent crime is down. Crime has just been dropping across the board, even as we get more guns. I don't think it's because of those guns. I think it's a much more complex issue than that. But we aren't getting less civilized. Objectively, we're not getting less civilized.
I would like to ask you a question. Were you all born in the United States?
I was.
Yes. Has anybody traveled to another country?
Yeah.
Which one?
I've been to Italy. I've been to was it Greenland?
One of those countries up there.
Yeah, one of them over there. Yeah, but
not BC, Jamaica,
British Columbia.
Jamaica, Nepal.
Okay, so you've traveled. You've traveled.
Mexico. I've only been out of the country in the military.
Which one?
Mexico to Mexico.
Mexico and Canada.
I've just been to Mexico like once, and then I've been to
Okay.
I've been to Iraq and briefly Germany.
Military?
So you've traveled too.
Not really. I wasn't protecting anyone's rights in the military. Trust me.
So you were in the military.
Yes.
Yeah, military is.
I'm an Army
whole
Ranger
other-
turned conscientious objector who realized that government is inherently evil.
Yep.
So you were a conscientious objector.
That's why the state should be in charge
So
of things.
which means you and I, there are a lot of stuff we agree with, and there are others that we don't. And probably with all of you, I will find something that we agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no necessarily a monolith opinion. Pretty much the binding reason we get together out here is because we support civil liberties that people don't like.
Right. So do you realize the chance I took when I stepped here? First of all, I didn't know who you are. That there could be one of you that all of a sudden would get so angry that would just use the gun and shoot me, just losing the mind.
Sure, but you were a lot more likely to die in a car accident on the way from Sunny Valley, especially considering the fact that there was snow.
No, don't listen to
You're
my
also-
argument. I took a chance.
Yes, you did.
Thank you
I
for
took a
coming out
chance.
here.
I took a chance because I look at your gun. You could all of a sudden say that fuck her, I'm going to call her right now.
But
because
honestly,
you would lose your mind.
But
Yeah,
honestly,
you got
you
other
could have.
people.
We took a chance by standing here. You could have mowed us down with your car as you came up.
Yeah, that weighs a lot more than I do.
But you could have taken us all out, every one of us in one shot.
But
with your
the
car.
state of Oregon
And
has
what is
also
based on?
deemed
What is it
that
based on?
vehicle is safe and the driver
really-
It's not based on anything.
No.
So if the government says something
I didn't
safe,
know
it's
that.
safe.
It's not based
what
on
you're
anything.
saying, that's right. Not all gun owners want to kill other people.
Like none.
That's
like
right.
literally 0.001% of gun owners want to kill people.
No, I don't want to.
It's like so minimal.
Which means that probably if we were to spend 1 week together with, you know, what they call a facilitator, that probably at the end of the week, because they made those studies, where they would take, for example, people who were for abortion and people who were against abortion. And one guy was trying to help people to talk. It took 2 days and a half before they could listen to each other. So
I'm on spring break. I can come over. You live in Somerville?
That's right. And I would say...
Love to. I got a
And I
job.
would say, leave your gun in your
Yeah.
car. I would say, leave your
Well,
gun.
that's valid. You've got the right to not allow my gun on your premises.
I would say leave your gun at home.
Yeah.
But to me, that would be interesting. How long it would take for people who believe in guns the
Well,
way you do.
it's not that we believe in guns. They exist. Guns are, I mean, they're material possessions.
Yeah, it's not like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. It's,
Yeah,
That's right.
it's
How
not like
long
we
it
believe
would
in
take
guns.
so we could get to more agreement. I would be curious to know how long it would take.
Yeah.
Take a while.
It depends on what your fundamental issue is with civil liberties, is what it is.
That's what we would see. This is what we will work through. I find that fascinating that, you know, that I stop here and I, you know.
Well, thank you for stopping, by the way.
I don't own a gun. I will not have a gun.
Well, if you've got a
And I
neighbor that
wish-
bad, you should definitely get one. I would maybe get an AR or
pistol caliber carbine.
Yeah. Maybe a CZ Scorpion.
Where I come from, okay? My father had a 22, and it was always on the back of the car, and we would go to the beach. And I'm amazed that the kids, we were very, very active kids, and we would just have a can in the water, then we would shoot and would say, that's my turn, that's my turn. Yeah. And we never had an accident. So I live with guns, and there was a revolver in the house, and my mother had 9 children and 10.5 years. And she didn't want any. And she was bleeding.
Ouch!
And she had hemorrhages. So she really started to lose her mind because of the hemorrhages. So she would take the revolver that was in the drawer. And I was too young. I was told the stories by my oldest brother and my older sister. And she would look at the kid and she would say, when a kid was sick, she needed to kill the vampire that was eating the blood of a kid. So my older sister told my father, get this. She never knew whether there was an ammunition or not. So she finally convinced my father to bring the revolver in his office. But I wrote a book about my mother who had the 9 children in 10.5 years, and of course, right, 9 and 10.5 years. I'm the 9th. So I wrote a book about her. So my perspective with life is a lot based on what I live.
This is Montreal or Quebec?
Quebec. I lived in Rivière-du-Loup, which is funny that it's the translation is Wolf Creek. And Sunny
Valley's right next to Wolf Creek.
Sunny Valley's, and I thought, how did I go full circle? So, and that's why I'm what they call an activist. I talk with people, and I see your gun, and I say, wow, that is amazing. So it's a nice experience for me to be talking with you, because we all have difference of opinion here. And to be able to talk so that you don't want to kill me right now, I feel safe. You won't.
Yeah. Well, if there was someone that wanted to kill someone, they wouldn't be walking around town openly carrying an AR. They would hide it, and then they would bring it out and start shooting people.
Yeah.
So
they would have done it in that massive
someone
crowd,
walking down the street with an AR, you're probably seeing the safest person on the block.
That would be an interesting thing to develop.
Yeah. If you look at someone that's like me carrying a gun at a rally like this, you're probably looking at the safest individual out of the bunch. Because when you have something like this,
you understand
and
respect.
the police were here. There were like 3 or 4 police.
They were standing right there.
If I were to do anything that could even be construed as a threatening gesture, do you know how quickly I would be put down?
Pretty quick.
Police are very liberal with
Do you
their...
know how many demonstrations I went in my life?
I have no idea.
That's correct. And I have seen things done, people bleeding. I have seen it. And I think what's going on right now in the United States is very disturbing. I think...
What specifically do you find disturbing?
Well, if you listen to the news...
Which news?
What?
That's the question.
That's correct.
Yeah.
If you listen to yesterday, I want to be careful here because if I say things that you may get upset.
No.
We have no reason to fear.
I speak for these gentlemen. I feel perfectly safe here, and I've said some things that could make their blood boil, but we are being reasonable.
I believe that we are in World War III. There was World War I, there was World War II, and I believe that we've been in World War III for at least a year, that when historians would look at when it started and how, and we'll lose my voice on it, The changes that are happening in the current government are an escalation, fast escalation to escalate I believe World War III is happening right now. Not in the United States in the sense that it's not being destroyed like Syria. And you were in the military, so you've seen a lot. I think we are in World War III, and it's very difficult that so many people are dying. This is where I come from. And for me, the way guns are utilized right now to kill 17 students in the school, I think that we need to examine when will that stop.
It'll stop as soon as a good guy with a gun puts down the threat. Yeah. And that's how it always stops.
Well,
because taking away my gun doesn't take away his.
Well,
he's going to hide his gun. He's not going to register his gun.
You can come
He's
through.
going to buy his gun illegally. It's because criminals don't follow.
And
follow
this
the
is
law.
where we would need to continue talking.
Are you? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Are you armed?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I am. I know. But I still don't know if you're armed, and it's your right to not tell me. But at least we have already had a discussion that involved give and take and some form of reason, and so I feel comfortable with you. I have no idea who this kid is. So he might be the one who pulls out a gun, and you may have to save my life from him pulling out a gun and shooting me in the head.
But
And I might
would
be
that make you
right
pro-gun?
here saying, don't do it, and I'm the one who does.
Well, you trust the police, right? You trust the police not to blow your head off?
What?
Do you trust the police not to blow your head off?
Who's the police?
The police.
I'm
A
from
police
Sacramento,
officer.
by the way.
Yeah.
And I hate to be
like, do you believe in police brutality as an issue today?
I believe where I come from, and I believe from what I observe, that nobody is perfect.
Right, but here
I
in
believe that
Medford,
some police have made mistakes.
yeah, here in Medford, do you feel safe around the officers who are carrying Glock 19s with 15-round mags?
I wish that it would be like England, where the police and it's not that long ago. Police didn't have
that's well and
arms.
good, but how do you feel about them being armed? Do you feel them as a threat to yourself?
I'm going to bring up Antifa.
But do you don't feel a threat when they're around?
They're the groups we have. Well, more Antifa more than anything. Because in Europe, they threw Molotov cocktails at their cops.
Right. That's an ideological assertion.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, do you feel threatened by their presence? Do you feel threatened by police officers?
I think your question, you see, you're trapping me with your question.
That's a very simple question.
No, it
you
is
either
not a
feel
simple
threatened.
question.
She's debated a lot longer than you have.
You either feel threatened by the police or you don't.
Pinko liberal.
That's a pretty easy. That's a pretty easy question to answer.
What about groups like Antifa that want to cause harm to people that they disagree with? Because people like there was a guy named Steven Crowder who sent one of his people into an Antifa rally, and they actually were talking about how they're going to hurt people with weapons. They're going to get their hands on these, and they're the ones that need to be looked at. Especially like in Europe.
Would you like to interview for a YouTube channel?
Yeah,
sure. Sweet. Here, yeah. I'm just gonna do a bit of an interview. I'll be right back. So, I do a little bit of a thing. It's called I don't know if you've ever seen Steven Crowder.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Steven Crowder does a little bit of a thing. It's called Change My Mind. It's really great. It's very here. One second. Let me zoom out here. I'm just gonna get this as best as I can. Now here we go. So what's your name?
My name is Asher Rumble.
Asher Rumble. Okay, nice to meet you. I'm Chase Hugh. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Okay, so we're doing one of the things I do. I'm based on Steven Crowder's Change My Mind. I'm very pro-gun. Most people that I interview this are very anti-gun. But we're curious to get your views on camera, just to get the voice out of people.
Yeah.
So what do you know about the Second Amendment, or where do you stand on that?
I am pro Second Amendment because most people these days don't. Read the Constitution. I read the Constitution through and through and studied it, and I agree completely. people who are protesting these days and saying that they're against gun laws is technically unconstitutional.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Because they're using their First Amendment rights to try and destroy the Second.
And when the First Amendment rights are basically already washed down.
Yeah. Like
and I don't want the Second Amendment to be washed down because after that everything's gonna go. And so once that happens, then.
So what do you think is the best this example of why we shouldn't have gun control? Like place or anything.
Well, in the Philippines, they have gun control, and that's one of the worst places in the world. That's where crime is. Crime is the worst there, and with places like Texas and Canada, they don't have gun control or anything like that, and their crime is very, very low.
Well, Canada's actually starting to implement that. Canada's starting to suck. Well, one of my favorite things to talk about is Britain. Because Britain, they have implemented gun control. But last year in London alone, they had over 500 acid attacks. And I think that's just absolutely insane.
I've never heard of that before.
But the reason, at least for me, just from the logic that I can see, people have banned the guns in Britain. Britain is going through massive violent crimes. Nobody is able to defend themselves. And I think that, and also Chicago. Chicago has some of the worst gun crime, yet the most gun legislation in gun laws. So, what are your opinions on? Let's see. Well, what's your opinion on the AR-15?
AR-15, I think it's a great.
Nice.
I've never shot one, but
okay.
I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to own one. That guy's AR over there is pretty legit.
Yeah.
I'd love to have one someday, and I'm probably gonna go back to Alaska someday. And they have like concealed carry laws, but you don't need a permit to carry, which is awesome. I want to go to Alaska.
Yeah, because Alaska doesn't have that much gun crime now, does it?
No, they don't. But there are a lot of similar shit like they are here.
Nice. All right. So what about the train of thought on this? I just had it and I just lost it. Damn it. I just lost it. Had a really great thing. I don't think. Shoot. So, I'm sorry. I don't really do that many, and I haven't really done this before, and I just forgot what I was going to say. Right down, actually.
It's always a good idea.
How much time do I have left on this thing? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I got like 49 minutes left of recording time. Yeah, that's plenty of time. So what about the recent Parkland shooting? What do you think about the?
I've never. I saw it on the news once, and I said the Parkland shooting, and I saw people were protesting. That's it. I clicked off it instantly. I don't know any information about that.
Okay, so what I know is that the shooter was mentally ill, and had even been called like over 20 times. Police had gone to his house for mental health issues. Do you think that somebody who was mentally ill, in the case of the Parkland shooting, should have been able to acquire a farm?
It depends on what kind of mental illness it is. If it's, I don't know, like, some people have PTSD. And there's different types of PTSD. There's some where it's memory loss, there's some where it's like they go crazy. And,
like Rambo.
Yeah. So people like that, people who go just crazy, I don't think they should be able to have weapons. That's just my opinion. But people who suffer from memory loss because of PTSD, I think they should have weapons. This is kind of like a gray area for me. Some mental illnesses aren't too severe, and some mental illnesses can be really severe.
Yeah.
Depends on.
It's like define mental illness, because I think recently the CDC just defined video game addiction as mental illness, which I think is just ludicrous.
I don't agree on that either.
Yeah, at all. So just because I like playing Mario Brothers, I can't win again.
Yeah.
Another thing that they did that I actually do agree with, which is they stated that CDC stated that in America you are more likely to die of a stabbing than a gunshot.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and also guns actually save more people each year then lives are taken. So I think if we take this into account, what do you think?
Well, I agree with that completely. I think people I think it's, in my opinion, I think people should mandatory have guns. There's a country, Sweden.
Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah. Sweden let in all those refugees.
Yeah, Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's mandatory to have a gun there, and look how good they're doing. You don't hear anything bad about them. You don't hear anything bad on the news.
Love Switzerland.
And with knives, I mean,
yeah.
I was reading a presentation, and it was during school. This kid, he was presenting gun control, and he put up this chart, and it said most amount of kills and how am I gonna put this?
Like death by.
Yeah, no, not like it's most deaths by certain things, and guns were even the top 10.
Yeah.
The closest thing to it, which was in 15th, was suicide. That's the closest thing. And I don't know. Yeah, and my opinion, that's just, I lost my train of thought.
No, that's good. You know, somebody yelling, screaming out of their car while leaning out of it. Yeah, that's very distracting.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it should be mandatory to have a gun.
Nice.
In America.
I think Israel does the exact same thing, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's mandatory to serve 2 years in the military there.
Yeah, which I think we should probably implement that here, because then I think there's both some pros and cons to that. But I think if we did, we might actually get we might actually get a sense of patriotism, which America really has lost its sense of patriotism.
It has.
Yeah, because one of the best times for America. One of the best times for America was the 50s.
Yeah.
We just kicked ass in World War II. We come back, infrastructure is amazing. We're creating stuff made in America, iron, steel, planes, trains, automobiles. It's badass. And somehow, where did we go wrong?
We started backtracking a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's where America is heading right now. Right now the Constitution is getting washed away.
Yeah.
Right now people want control of this world. It's mostly liberals. I'm not being I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm not trying to be I hate liberals or anything. It's the truth. The liberals are ones who are pushing this agenda. The liberals are ones, they say one thing and do the other. Hypocrites. And it's true. I don't care what any liberal says because they'll deny it and no.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you. Here, let's go back over. See how the argumentation's going on over here.
So what is your position about the Iraq War in general?
We shouldn't be doing a lot of that stuff, to be honest.
I completely agree. Why are you now saying...
Asher, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
Because when I went to Iraq, frankly, I never got to this, but frankly, because I was on the enforcing end of gun control. I've seen what gun control actually looks like when you enforce it. In Iraq, a lot of what our mission was going around and raiding houses and taking guns from people if they had more than one gun or 50 rounds of ammo. And it's ugly.
Why was that?
Why were we doing that?
Yeah.
Because that's what the generals made the policy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what we were told to do.
But why did the generals make that policy?
Because they didn't
to
want
control
the Iraqi
the people.
to be armed.
Because if the people have arms,
and
they
what I
can
realized when
defend
I was in
themselves.
Iraq, I realized this is why I became anti-war. I was like, you know what? If the American government, or if I was an Iraqi, I'd be shooting back too. That's what I realized.
Well, not just that, but their own military can tell our soldiers to come and take our own guns if they really wanted to. The soldiers have to do it.
I agree that
already
the
did it in
Iraqis
New
should have
Orleans.
been shooting
Oh,
back
really?
because
Yeah.
we really had the
When
right to
Katrina
do
came
that
through,
They started rounding up guns.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
There's some statistic that I saw somewhere. And it said that if there were
based on the fact
no
that somebody else
in
used one.
Chicago, New York,
I'm
Detroit, St. Louis,
pursuant to his question on being in Iraq.
No.
I was opposed to
City
both
in
of the
California.
Iraq wars.
Oh,
before
Los
it
Angeles.
San Bernardino?
public
city,
knowledge
huh?
that
What
we
is
were
it?
only there to protect our
I think where there's been guns.
Anyway,
there was
like
a huge
Sacramento?
awakening within the United States.
It starts with the C.
The only reason the military in the Middle East
Cincinnati?
exists is because we need to keep our defense
Oh
and
my
our
god,
police forward.
It might have been Compton.
And that, you
place
know,
has a lot of gun crime.
I can understand that.
Yeah, but there was some
I don't
statistics that I saw that said
from a
if we got rid of guns,
conscientious,
those, like,
objective
5 cities,
perspective, I don't think
America would drop
taxpayer
to
money
189
should be
in the
used
world out of gun crime.
I'm still surprised people don't use Detroit as a main example. I mean, look at Detroit.
allowing
Detroit's been
them
under
and
Democratic. I mean,
Yeah.
Democratic
rule
rule for the
for
last
10
40
billion
years.
Yeah.
profit
And that
where-
place is a
where's
shithole.
under our protection.
Look at Klamath.
Okay?
Yeah.
If they want
I used to
peace
grow up
in the
in
Middle
Klamath.
East
I thought
so that
Klamath
they
was
can
awful.
keep profiting
Yeah.
from
Going
peace
there.
in the
I
Middle
live in
East,
Klamath.
then they can pay.
So I used to live there. I'm sorry, but Klamath kind of sucks, man.
It's got like a lot
He said he lives in Klamath and a lot of people like, or he lives in Klamath and he likes it. And I said not a lot of people say that.
I go there, it's like, where's everything?
There's
like nothing here.
There's no grass. Everything's cold.
Idiots. Houses
But
are
do they
half
have
the price of
do they have
Where's
those
Toys
sweet
R Us?
chairs in the theater?
Oh wait, that's right, they're gone.
They don't, and that's
Do you
why
know,
I like
Toys R
ones
Us
that
actually
rock?
funded Planned Parenthood?
recliners.
The ones
Oh,
that
wow.
kill people
Yeah,
now?
Toys R Us over the years has actually donated millions and millions to
recliners?
You know, the founder died 2 years,
new
2
chairs
days
they
ago.
By a reclining-
Yeah. And then the next day, the founder of Blockbuster died.
Kill people.
Yeah, this guy got his head stuck
Like
in
everything
water
I
and
grew
he had
up
a heart
with
attack.
is dying.
Like a major
I'm
news story.
gonna miss
Heart attack
Blockbuster.
killed him.
Yeah, but you know,
There's actually one Blockbuster left.
Yeah,
It's in Alaska.
That gets back to my.
Alaska, there's nothing in Alaska, so you're gonna need a Blockbuster. Your internet's gonna be like
bullet. The bullet
100 kilobytes.
2,500 feet per second.
The bullet doesn't really kill
Oh, really?
each other. I mean, not really. And it's a person pulling the trigger.
Back then, when I was
it's the torn tissue, the hydrostatic shock.
that's
what kills
it. It was pretty good
If
internet
there's
there.
not a
It's not
bullet
really
in the-
bad.
in the
Yeah.
chamber,
The service there, as long as you have AT&T or Verizon,
Who's going to get
you're pretty much good.
prosecuted?
Or
The bullet or
GCI.
the person?
Who's creating the action?
The bullet's an inanimate object.
Who's creating the
So exactly,
action
the
that
bullet-
fires that bullet?
The crazy person who shouldn't have the gun in the first place.
Who has? Who? Okay, let's put it
So
this
that's
way.
why I'm in favor of background.
Yes, yes, the bullet is what actually kills somebody. Who has moral
52% of this
culpability?
crime is
But
created
at
by
the same
50%
time, it
of this
comes up to the
nation.
people that get that person in trouble for the mental issues to actually report it. That's the other thing. Is some of these people they're not reported on.
And
so
as
then
long as we
when you
keep-
do the background
It's
check,
not
it passes.
It's a
And as
fact.
long as we
People
keep
take that
reducing
in
the amount of
offense
government
and
money
use it
spent
against you.
on
Yeah,
the people
listening
responsible to do the
Ben
background
Shapiro.
checks to make sure that crazy people don't have guns.
Well, we spend all of our money on stupid
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, that's the big
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We want to get our
Roads,
government
schools,
out
and
of a lot of
hospitals.
things.
Yeah.
They've been giving the
States
moral
need to be
high ground
control
to
most
whoever gets
stuff.
I do
Yeah,
think
so-
it's
so-
so stupid. I don't want to, like, my kids will never be at one of these schools. I don't want to be paying for it.
Actually, most schools nowadays scare me.
Some of my
To
kids
be honest, I'm not going to
not-
school.
not the kids.
Fenced in, metal detectors everywhere. That's terrifying.
Steve Crowder interviewed with.
I'm gonna reach in my
No,
pocket.
yeah, you're a substitute teacher.
Pull out my bag.
What's his name? Tucker
Where do you
Carlson.
usually, or what do you usually
On Fox
teach?
News talking to
Anywhere
guys like
from
Greg
Ashland to Grants Pass,
No,
any
he
school,
wants
any
to
subject.
Do you
I
feel
walk-
threatened in the classroom?
I walk into classrooms filled with students I have never seen nor heard of before,
Do you feel threatened?
almost every minute of every day.
Do you
Yeah,
feel like
there's-
you should have the
I
means
still
to be
don't
able
like
to
that. Oh
protect
my
yourself?
god.
Yeah.
No.
You don't?
Gun big.
That really sounds bizarre. It does. You don't want to be able to protect yourself?
I just, again, I think it's a little bit like, I think it's
I don't
kind
do
of
anything I could to
presumptuous of you
protect
be
the
like,
students.
oh, I'm fine.
Like, I'll put my own life on
myself
it, make
in
sure
the
these kids can grow up.
Man, what do you say to a
Howard. First opposition, they either burn
Oh, okay, I
themselves
didn't
to
want to
death
guess that.
or they die.
Well, it's just like somebody made the exact point. They went to somebody who's like, I'm gonna kill people. Like, right, kill me right now. I want to die.
It's really easy to be, to be, you know,
Back off.
I'm
Not kill me,
about
do it.
185 pounds. I'm 6 foot tall. About
Most people just don't want to. It's just they
Most
have the
people aren't
nerve,
gonna
but they're
try
just
to
like,
fight
you know,
it's
more of
really
just
easy
scare
to say
people
that,
than
but
anything.
what do you say to like the 81-year-old 4-foot-tall woman who's like hunched over and
If I may, let me lay a foundation stone in this debate. Okay? A foundation stone. There are people, and I'm going to use this example because I know, I'm assuming that we've all heard. Trump says, if I walked out onto Fifth Avenue, I could shoot somebody and my followers, I wouldn't lose any followers. Okay? That is
detestable.
That is a testament to celebrity.
It doesn't matter what you
That
say.
is a testament
It's the
to
Constitution.
patriotism, not as in the American flag, waving the American flag. That is patriotism in the biblical sense of doing what the Father says.
But I would protest for it.
Patris, father, pater.
Well, to be honest, elections have now gone ridiculous.
Okay, so true patriotism is doing what your father tells you to do.
This guy has a
So,
hug and break.
in a truly patriotic community, the leader goes. If the leader says, I want you all to drink this poison
It's actually
Kool-Aid,
really, really funny. Right?
they're all going to drink that poison Kool-Aid because they have absolute faith and
It's really
belief.
funny because
And
That's called statism, when the state is God.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the state.
No, that's the state. That man is the state.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm talking
No,
about.
that's what I'm
sorry,
saying.
I'm not drinking that, man. You all can have fun drinking that.
He is the supreme leader. He's
Yeah,
the
if
dictator.
everyone does what he says,
he's one of those guys.
that man's the
Right now, in terms of the ideas behind this debate, there is nothing any of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 could say. There is no logical, no reasonable, no statistical, nothing that any of you 7 could say that would make me feel like I needed to go over to Blackbird right now and buy a gun. Okay?
That's it would take you a couple weeks or more.
In the same manner, you're right. In the same manner that there is absolutely nothing I could say that would make you guys suddenly realize I'm wrong. I am going to take these bullets. I am going to personally destroy
MPD and
all right?
my gun.
So that is a foundational stone in this debate that you're not going to convince me to buy a gun, and I'm not going to convince you.
We're not trying to convince you to buy a gun. We're trying to convince you that you taking our guns is immoral.
I'm not trying to take your gun.
You said you would.
The only absolute.
You said if you didn't get killed, you would take everyone's guns. That's what you said.
Well, you also said you want to make bullets $5,000, and you want to have the same. You want to have every bullet.
Let's go buy a bullet maker.
I mean, you've talked about some very authoritarian gun control restrictions.
Well,
brother used to make his own bullets to go hunting.
Well, sure.
The only
Had a
thing that I
machine,
said
put the thing in it.
that I would
Take like a trunk and melt it down.
from a government
Shells out of that.
is funding and enforcing background checks so that, let's say it together, crazy people don't have
So you
guns.
don't want AR-15s buried.
I do want it.
Okay, well that's not
Because
crazy
regardless
people.
of your right to have it, there's absolutely no reason for you to.
The state doesn't. The state does not have to justify need.
tyrannical
I got it. No,
Doesn't.
even aside from that, you like again, it's really easy for you as a how much do you weigh?
362 pounds.
Okay, it's really easy for you as a 360-pound, whatever, 6 foot
You're
one
a
man.
ranger. You could kill me 37 different ways without the gun.
But that's
Why
not
do
the
you
point.
need the gun?
I'm not talking about myself. I'm a pretty fit guy. I can handle myself. I'm not worried about it. Just the simple fact that I am like a grown man. I can walk down the street and people more often than not aren't going to mess with me. But there are reasons to have AR-15s.
95% of
Do you
the
know
people at that march looked at you and went, he is just trying to make up for having a little tiny dick.
Who cares what they think?
Yeah, I don't really care what they think.
That's the only reason he's got
that
that
guy. You know what this one
the
guy said to
lacking
me? He
this-
said,
their
"Why don't
intellect."
you just whip out your dick?" That's what he said to me.
Well,
it's totally
I
tacky.
had a lady tell me, why don't I just give you a dildo? And then I was like, if I said that to you, you would rightly think that was incredibly offensive.
Yeah.
She could.
I was like, that is so
call the cops
trashy.
and
I was
say
like,
that
yeah.
guy just sexually.
What's the main reason why you don't want AR-15?
But no, hold on. I gotta interject. Let me finish my point. 'Cause I didn't finish it. Do you believe that people should at all be able to have
double
gun
standards,
control? Like, I know she didn't have one, but would you want a little tiny 80-year-old woman to be able, who lives alone, to be able to have a gun?
Yeah, that's true.
Because let's be real, a 50-pound tweaker could take that woman out. Like, it doesn't matter. So do you think she should be able to own a gun at all?
No.
I mean, that's crazy because what I was going to say is if you said yes, because most people are like, yeah, like Joe Biden's like, get a shotgun. You want that little tiny woman to get a shotgun that has heavy recoil, slow follow-up shots? If you like the small, the infirm, the disabled,
It's going to be like in Pirates of
the
the
best
Caribbean.
guns for them are
With
quote
the little
assault
guys.
weapons.
Remember,
pistol caliber carbines,
I am, and
AR-15s.
I haven't used this phrase yet, but I am a Rodney King bleeding heart tax and spend liberal.
Well, at least you're
I
honest. I mean, at least
I just
you'll
want.
follow
And I'm going
your
to take off my
immoral-
sunglasses so you can see me say this with my eyes. I just want us all to get
After you take our guns.
But we're never.
If you have assault rifles and 30 rounds of ammunition, that makes this a war zone.
No, it doesn't.
No.
One day at the range.
You see anybody
The
dying?
war's in your mind, man. The war's
People
in your
die
mind.
in war zones, and nobody here is dying.
You say you want there's at least. If the war was in my mind, I would be worried about having to defend myself, and therefore I would feel the need to go get a gun so that I could defend myself against this war that's happening.
But
You said this is a war zone?
It's a war zone.
Where's the war zone?
You are carrying implements.
Where's the war zone?
It is right here because those two
Where's
guns
the aggressor? Does a war not have an aggressor? Where's the opposition?
in Iraq.
Where is it here? I want to know here.
No, we're talking here
Where's
now.
the aggressor?
In Iraq. The aggressor was the United States of America.
Well, sure. I don't.
Which is a
that
good
we-
reason to not
Yeah.
let the United States of America take guns.
Yeah.
Amen.
I've
They-
seen
Yeah,
how
but
the United
I-
States
I
of
agree
America
with
takes
that.
guns.
100%.
It's violence.
If you guys did not have weapons of war strapped to your chest,
These are not
people-
weapons of war.
No. It's a semi-automatic sporting
As
rifle.
I've
most
stated,
guns are semi.
there's no military in the world that uses these guns.
Yeah.
All right.
Feelings change, but right, Stone.
And most guns are
as I
semi-automatic.
said, my parking meter expired at like 1:30.
Just don't pay it. There's not a lot they can do.
I know. Don't see this cop right here is going to drive by.
He's got a gun.
I know. And you're
might
associated.
shoot you, man.
I wonder if you'd give me a ride back to my car.
He's just like,
He would not
everything's
let
okay
you
to
in
me.
that
I'm
car.
gonna
Yeah.
keep on going.
For the same reason that they didn't let you onto the grounds. With
Well,
that
that's
car.
actually.
No, that wasn't the deal. I can.
I
be
could have
anywhere.
gone in there.
It
with
is-
I
my
can
gun.
go into a
It is
school.
perfectly legal. On our way back
Yeah.
to our cars, we can walk on the school property with our guns, and it is not illegal.
Really?
Yeah.
If I was
ORS
not carrying this,
If you
flag-
have a
Do you
concealed carry
remember?
permit.
Do you remember the Dallas shooting? It was like 2.5, 3 years ago. The guy that was photographed with one of those strapped over his back, and that photograph suddenly was on CNN and MSNBC and probably even Fox News all over the world saying this dude is one of the Dallas shooters because he is the only person that we know of within the city of Dallas carrying an AR-15 on his back.
And they were wrong.
And, well, but as soon
That
as,
is very-
as, soon
highly,
as
highly
somebody
unlikely.
called him on his
Highly.
cell phone and said, hey, they've got your picture. You are now under suspicion for being one of the Dallas shooters. He sold that gun. He vowed to never own guns again.
I will look that up. I don't think that's true. What he really, I'm pretty sure he really did was he went to the cops and said, "Hey, take my gun for now. I didn't do this. Just to make sure it wasn't me."
Yeah,
That guy did not go
Yeah.
full
I remember
anti-gun.
that.
Unless you want to talk about that crazy dude.
Let me ask you another question. As
He
I was
did turn
walking,
himself in and say, "I had nothing to do with it."
And they pretty quickly sorted it out.
If anything went down, that the MPD is the first place I'd go. If anything ever goes down,
Oh, okay.
that's what good guys do.
Okay. What do the bad guys do?
They either murder
There's
everyone
no
or
one's there.
kill themselves or flee.
And if they can't
Or
get it
loot.
through a
Do they
store,
go to
they'll go
MPD
through the black
first?
market.
No, bad guys do not go to MPD.
Okay.
Not willingly.
Every mass shooting
but
has
bad
happened
guys,
in gun-free zones.
bad guys can go into Blackbird and buy one of those right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
they could.
Cool.
Yeah, but if they really wanted something even
But
worse, they
that's
go to the
the
black
can't
market.
stop
thing.
it.
is
But
that
it's
they
like
can,
at the
they
black
can go
market.
down
Don't
to
forget
Prune
about the
Street,
black
man.
market.
They can go down
Like
to
I
Prune
said,
Street.
that little old lady, if she was a bad person, could have mowed us all down with her car.
Exactly. How much restriction do you want? How much red tape do you want people to have to jump through to go to Home Depot and rent a truck for the day for $50 to haul around some furniture
And mow people
because
down.
they could easily go mow people down?
Or
It
what about
happens. That has
bombs?
happened a lot of times.
That's been
Timothy
coming up
McVeigh
lately.
rented a Ryder truck and blew up the building.
A friend of mine was
And there was
in
a couple
in
guys
Tahoe
recently found with
in
bombs and packages, so it's like
1982
should ban packages.
Yeah.
Wait,
What about the anthrax
what about
scare?
teens sexing and driving?
Package control.
Ban all cell phones.
Packages no larger than 16 inches.
Or just have a scanner that just scans them as they go through.
We already saw what happened. Hiya, how's it going?
Yeah, good package.
Are you armed?
No.
Well, I have
And you
Google.
don't have to answer that.
I know.
And
she
he doesn't have a
answer
right
that,
to
but-
know.
Yeah.
You have no right to know.
Anyway, but I already know that I've had reasonable conversations with all of these phone jobs.
But see, to an earlier point, if I would have had my shirt my sweater zipped up so they didn't see the AR on my shirt and didn't have this flag, I could have gone in there with a gun and nobody would have known.
Yeah.
And even if you had unzipped your shirt.
I go in schools
they
from
would
time to time.
Seriously?
That's the
Seriously?
safest the school has ever.
Yeah.
No, because I mean into this little rally is what I'm talking about.
Because if you had not covered up that shirt and you had left the flag at the street, they would not have let you in.
Well,
Really?
if they had known he was on the.
Because I was on the other side of the argument, I was not.
I don't think they had any issue in letting anyone.
Yeah.
Dissenting opinions are not allowed in liberalism.
Yeah. That's why they keep
Do
saying
you-
shut
do you-
up.
do you think I'm a liberal?
Well, I think if
I've already told you I'm
if you're a tax
We're
man
probably
liberal,
seeing
then
somewhere
we're
online.
I am a Rodney King. Why can't we all just get along? Taxes.
Rodney,
why can't we get along after I take my gun?
No, getting along is getting along.
Everybody
I
can
just,
just
if you want to get along, then you respect civil
Yeah,
liberties.
when you say you want to get along, it just seems like you're being a little disingenuous because any of us would be perfectly happy for you to
in my face
not like guns and not want to go to the shooting, not want to own guns, but we just want to go to the shooting range and you're not okay with that. So how are you getting along?
Yeah, you want to take
I'm
our
standing here
rights
having
away.
a very nice time.
No, I know you are, but I'm saying I'm talking
As
kind of
you
We are
said-
getting along now better
As you
than
said-
a hell of a lot better than we were getting along.
You would like to infringe on our rights.
But as you said, you want to take all of our guns
I
away.
have
I am more
never,
anti-government now than I've ever
in
been
the
in my
last
life.
3 hours.
You said you would take my gun if you could, and you knew you wouldn't get killed.
You did
Even
tell
the
me
Constitution says
if
we
you
have a
knew
right to
you
revolt
couldn't get
ourselves
shot.
to the
You're right.
You should be
I mean,
consistent.
So
If you had a bag of cocaine in your pocket,
You're not here. I'll just give you mine.
I would
I
try
got
to
a
take that
notebook.
too.
to use it?
No, to dispose of it, because it's an incredibly fucking dangerous
To dispose of
it. I live in the Apple.
Let me
Cave.
dispose of
I
that
have,
for you.
There are within 5 miles of my house. There is $1 billion worth of either marijuana or marijuana proceeds. I do not smoke pot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you
I've
probably
seen-
get the
You know,
secondhand smoke
what is
pretty
it?
good.
What was her name?
No.
But you, I mean,
I
do you
don't.
think that like alcohol's far more dangerous than cocaine
Yes,
is? Do you
yes.
think alcohol should be illegal?
I think it should,
in
in my opinion.
What happened when they banned
You're
alcohol?
impinging on people's civil rights that have been around for alcohol
in my
laws for
opinion,
thousands of
marijuana is
years.
illegal.
Marijuana laws.
And what happened when they banned
I've
alcohol?
never drank
More
in my
people
life,
died
and I
during
think
that
alcohol
time
should
than.
be legal. I would never, ever in a million years deign to deprive someone of the right to drink if they want to, even though I don't drink.
To kill themselves with alcohol.
Well, look at it like this. Look at what Penn and Teller had said. Penn had said, we've never
It's-
drank or smoked in
in
our
my
life,
opinion, you
but
can
if
call
people
me
want to
like
do
a
that, that's their right.
Tinfoil wearing
So,
hat.
I drink
I wear a
moderately,
motherfucker, I don't
so
really
just
care. I think
saying
it's a
that,
good
oh,
move.
somebody wants to destroy their life with alcohol,
If-
that doesn't, I mean,
I think
I
they
drink
do that for a reason. Just to
once
get
in a
it.
great while, I might have a beer or two.
I think
Am I destroying my
they
life with
infringe the
alcohol?
cartel, and
No.
yeah.
So
What they do is
So
they
why should
give the
cocaine
cartel.
be
Yeah, they fund the people. They fund the cartel to.
I don't think it should.
You know, handle drugs and stuff.
But
like
you
that,
try to
and
take
they
it if I had
say,
dispose
well,
of it because
I would try to take it from you
Disease.
just because there is an outside chance that you're going to kill yourself with it, and I just want us to be happy. You're happy by smoking cocaine.
But you want us all to be happy while
If
we're
somebody-
living in your
Okay.
Rodney King tax and spend, steal from the rich.
Do you know the
steal
Rodney
from the
King?
poor.
You know the Rodney King reference?
What's the,
You know the Rodney King reference?
Rodney King's the guy that got
what
like
they
beat
do, what
by
I think
the.
they do is they
Severely
seize
beat by
those drugs
police,
at the
yes.
cartel.
What's the reference? I'm not, I don't
Because
understand.
at a price
Make it into pills.
Why do you think we have an opioid epidemic?
Exactly.
microphone.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
we- we-
Because we all get along.
One thing she said, she was just like,
I have always tried to be.
I really don't care. That's your freedom of speech. I have no right to infringe upon that. But if you take away my Second Amendment, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Yes. All my neighbors.
And I don't mean I'm the Wyatt Earp peacemaker by saying, this is my hand. I'm not even gonna by saying.
Yeah, you might give us back.
I know. I'm not even gonna point my camera at so much. By saying, we will get along. What's the line from Rush? With axes, chainsaws, and whatever. We're gonna get along, or else I'm gonna kill you. That's a dictator. Okay. All right.
wait, you're
Like
trying to
communism.
dictate how we live our lives.
No, I'm trying to say, and somebody said something to me about communism and socialism. Communism and socialism are as on the socioeconomic scale they're as different as a dictatorship and a libertarian.
They're really not.
No. One's just a little further down the scale than the other.
Yeah. They're down the same
Arguably,
path. One's just a
communism
little
Except
further.
communism,
Subset of socialism.
communism always devolves into a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah, it
kind
does.
of statism
Someone
always
has to
defaults.
continue.
So
And there's a lot of
socialism-
communists nowadays in this
to
country
communism.
called Antifa.
Socialism
Hate that.
evolves away from a dictatorship.
No. The Marxist theory was
Am I going to be famous here? For the
maybe
next
I
10
don't know.
years?
I only have I have less than 300 subscribers, so who knows?
Okay.
So the Marxist theory was socialism and then to communism. That's literally how it goes with the Marxist theory. But Marxism also calls for worldwide communism, because if there is no money, right? Because Marxism wants to get rid of gold and paper money.
This is Star Trek.
No. This is factual evidence. But I just lost train of thought. Okay, so what happens is let's say Egypt is communist. Okay, let's just say that. But what's right next to Egypt?
Libya?
Okay, let's look at Libya. Okay, well, because Egypt doesn't have any money, right? Well, I guess they aren't going to be able to trade with Libya, now are they? Because under communism there is no trading. Under communism, to each everybody does what they're good at, and everybody only gets what they need. Which means, let's say I am a heart surgeon, right? And I can do things that nobody else can do, right? And under capitalism, I should make a lot of money because I can do things that nobody else can do, right? I live alone. I should be able to own a massive house, correct? Right? If I want to, that's up to me. Dude, you don't need that. But yeah, under communism, wait. You're living alone. Sure, you're only a doctor, but how about this? Since you're alone and you're a single male, how about I give you this little apartment right next to the hospital, and you only get this little bicycle. You want clothes? The government will supply you clothes. Will they be good clothes? No, but you get what you need, not what you want. I wanted a red shirt. Now here's a blue one. It's one reason why Russian cars suck.
The incentive is gone. The other side of that story, and I have a minor in economics.
Okay.
So
There you go.
I understand the theory.
Okay.
So the other side of that story is I'm a guy living on top of the house, on top of that hill over there, in the 8,000 square foot mansion. His name is Bill Williams. He used to be the president of Harry David.
I did plumbing in that.
Let's say he was a heart surgeon.
Is that big stucco house?
It's
yeah,
Tuscan.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's
Yeah, I think I did some plumbing in that house actually.
Okay. The other side of that story, let's say I'm that heart surgeon and I charge $2,000 an hour. And oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. If I don't have $2,000 for a 1 hour procedure, I'm going to die.
Yeah, but hold on.
But then there's also a case of
So
if the doctor's charging too much, he's not going to make any money because nobody's going
But
to
that
want him
gets
around.
back to the basic question I had about human life, the sanctity of human life.
Well, I mean, if that person needed the surgery, here's some money. Everybody pitched in, helped each other.
In a purely capitalistic society, if I don't have enough money to pay for that heart surgery, I'm a
purely
goner.
capitalist society, that heart surgery wouldn't be that expensive, except for the government steps in and tries to regulate everything.
Yeah. No.
And as the government always does,
But that-
they ruin everything.
But
Housing.
Obamacare
Government
wasn't
steps
failure.
in and says,
I knew people that were on it had to get off it because their premiums kept going skyrocketing up. They couldn't afford it anymore.
Rent control is economically, statistically,
Which
from
actually,
the
plan was
perspective
originally
of
made by
research,
Mitt Romney
rent control's a bad thing.
and then adopted by Obama.
But they do the exact same thing with medical care and everything.
Well, we have the most expensive medical care in the world, and in terms of lifespan, in terms of overall health, we're in the 30s.
I know.
We are the least healthy country.
And guess who's meddling in the medical care? The government.
Ban the FDA, I don't know.
Who is evil?
The FDA is evil. It's the
Definitely.
reason why your prescription drugs cost.
No, that's not. No,
it is.
If you get rid of the Federal Reserve, that would help.
The
Martin
FDA are in
Martin
the pharma.
Shkreli.
No.
Martin Shkreli. Martin Shkreli and his kind, the kind that run the pharmaceutical companies that take research from state-funded, taxpayer-funded universities. They take that medical
Sounds like a
research.
good reason to get rid of that state funding.
I'd get rid of
You remember our mutual friend? I better not say her name on camera.
Yeah, so is mine.
This guy, I can
thing's
probably
heavier
leap
than
it out.
Who has
All right,
tax
gentlemen.
issues.
Oh, yeah. Brian, it's nice to meet you finally.
Nice talking to you guys.
Nice to finally be able to shake your hand, you know,
Finally,
after the first denial.
No.
He denied my handshake.
You were the first person I talked to.
Okay.
You were the first person I talked to. I thought
Nice to
I said,
meet you.
that guy's got a
Chase,
gun.
nice to meet you, man.
I'm going
Awesome.
to talk
And
to
it
him
was
for a while.
Nicholas in Asher. Yep. Nice, man. Dude, do you have some Native American in you?
Yeah.
Awesome. What, do you know what tribe?
I'm Native Alaskan. So
Wow, really? That's so
Yukon
cool, man.
and Athabasca.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I think so.
Were you born in Alaska then?
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's awesome. Sweet.
All right, I'll see you in a bit.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you
Awesome.
too.
Oh, check out my
I don't know. I'll
Yeah, what is it?
Chase
Like a joke
I
I
didn't
stole.
come up with anything.
Canada
I didn't
so
come up with
bad.
anything. Here,
Skip Canada and
here,
took
well,
elastic.
exactly.
Like, Canada, this is horrible. Hey, we'll take this though.
Exactly. People there are a lot nicer than.
Yeah.
And they have lots of guns.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Well, Alaska, you
I
kind of
like
have
that.
to.
Yeah,
Check it out right there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Throw stones at them.
What'd you say your name was again?
Chase.
Chase? Right on.
And
You're
then,
from here in Medford?
yes, Eel Point. I go to school there.
Sarah Palin's keeping her
Jackson,
so she
is
can
it?
see
Yeah,
Russia
Jackson.
from her house when she lives in Anchorage.
Hey, thanks for
Wow.
setting this up.
I'm going to walk my
Watch out for flies.
I
gotta head this way to walk back to my mom's house.
All right, see you guys.
All right. Nice meeting you.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Hope we changed your mind a little bit.
Nope.
All right.
Where you guys going?
I don't know. I gotta head out because my camera's only got like 13 minutes of battery life left. So. Hey, one sec. I want to get that flag on camera because I love it. I've got one hanging in my room.
This was hanging in my room until I pulled it down.
Nice. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I actually forgot the flag that I was going to bring today. It was Pakistan, the country, the country that doesn't exist. I totally forgot it. I got all the way out here and I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, that usually hangs on the ceiling in my bedroom.
Yeah, I've got 4 flags in my room. I've got, don't try that on me, I've got Pakistan. I also have the state of Jefferson, just because, honestly, we should have a state of Jefferson.
State of Jefferson.
Yeah. But the other one I have is a massive Trump flag. It's just, it's red, white, and blue. It's got Trump right on it. It's awesome. So yeah. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. I'm turning off the camera here because battery's almost dead, but thanks everybody.